Chapter 2846, Competition 21. Chapter 2846, Competition 21. Chen Ziyan looked at Shang Changtian and suddenly wanted to laugh. Spiritual kings were incredible, but Shang Changtian was nothing compared with the crown prince. How dare he try to flirt with Feng Wu? What was that? Shang Changtian wasn't affected. He put on a look that he thought looked condescending. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. The man seemed to be trying to mimic Jun Linyuan. She couldn't help but get that feeling. Feng Wu glared back at him. Are you blind? Shang Changtian didn't know what to say. Ever since he made a name for himself in the military academy, no one had ever treated him like this. Before Shang Changtian could say anything, Lu Qinghe frowned. Young lady, do you know who you're talking to? Feng Wu glanced at him. A blind man. Ahem. Ji Xingyan couldn't help but burst out laughing. Shang Changtian glanced at her, so she cleared her throat. Everybody, if you're here to eat, there's still a table over there. Please take your seats. Chu Yin knew Ji Xingyan, so she said, We'll wait for Master Taihe. I see. Ji Xingyan nodded. In that case, you'll have to get in line. Chu Yin knew the rules, so they took the number plate and sat down. Shang Changtian kept glancing at Feng Wu. Lu Qinghe looked at Shang Changtian and whispered, Boss, do you have a crush on the girl? Shang Changtian didn't deny it. He nodded and said, She's good-looking enough for me. He didn't try to keep his voice down, so everybody heard him. Even Feng Wu's team heard him. Chen Ziyun couldn't believe it. Feng Wu, did he just say Feng Wu was good enough for him? You must be dreaming. You got to be as great as the crown prince to go out with Xiao Wu. Chen Ziyun rolled his eyes at him. Shang Changtian found Chen Ziyun's words idiotic. The crown prince? As in Jun Linyuan? That was very bold of Chen Ziyun, bringing him up like that. Shang Changtian smirked. You must have a death wish. Chen Ziyun rolled his eyes. Death wish? This man didn't know what he was talking about. You're going to get yourself killed, and you won't know how it happens, Chen Ziyun said provocatively. Shang Changtian said, I'll say the same to you, but I know how you're going to die. His Royal Highness will kill you. Feng Wu found their conversation very boring. Shang Changtian was displeased when he saw that Chen Ziyun couldn't be bothered to talk to him. He had compared himself with Chen Ziyun since they were little. Before, his parents used to motivate him by using Chen Ziyun's achievements. Later, when Shang Changtian became stronger, he felt he could get back at Chen Ziyun. Defeating Chen Ziyun was his fundamental motivation for getting stronger. That was why he cut down Imperial College's flag after the military academy's team won the competition the year before. He had thought it was already kind enough of him not to stomp on the flag. He couldn't stand the fact that Chen Ziyun wouldn't even look at him. He glanced at Chen Ziyun and smirked. Do you know about His Royal Highness's relationship with the military academy? Chen Ziyun looked rather bored. Chapter 2847, Competition 22. Chapter 2847, Competition 22. I don't know about the relationship between the military academy and His Royal Highness. I only know that he's very close to our Imperial College. Shang Changtian smirked. Guess what? His Royal Highness is our school's honorary chief now. Chen Ziyun said, What? Shang Changtian said, One more thing. His Royal Highness is also the military team's chief commander. Northern Feng General was undoubtedly the most senior general in Peace Grassland. Apart from hundreds of thousands of soldiers, he also led 2 special troops. Both troops consisted of the most capable warriors. They had to be at least spiritual kings. During the battle against the Dongseng Kingdom, all participants would fight opponents of their own levels. That rule had been agreed upon by both countries. Otherwise, one advanced cultivator could annihilate a group of ordinary soldiers. That wouldn't be fair. The 2 special troops were the military team and dynasty team. Dynasty team's current chief commander was the mysterious elder of Imperial College, the one that no one had seen before. Jun Linyuan was the military team's chief commander now. It was Chen Ziyun's first time hearing about it, and he was shocked. His Royal Highness graduated from Imperial College. Shang Changtian chuckled. Given His Royal Highness's level, do you think he'll be confined by where he graduated from? He's the crown prince and our future emperor. He can do whatever he wants. He then gave Chun Ziyun an arrogant glance. Do you know His Royal Highness is recruiting guards? Chun Ziyun said, Is that so? Why haven't I heard about it? Sheng Changtian gloated. Only spiritual kings will be considered as candidates. You're not qualified. Chun Ziyun said, I don't think being a spiritual king will be enough to be His Royal Highness's guard. Sheng Changtian said, They're only recruiting junior guards. Do you think you'll start as the crown prince's personal guard? You'll have to go through a lot of training and multiple selections before you can become a senior guard. Only then will you be close to His Royal Highness. This process will take at least 10 years. Sheng Changtian clenched his fists. I'm sure I'll pass the test. Chun Ziyan looked from Sheng Changtian to Feng Wu. The look gave Feng Wu the creeps. What? She snapped. Chun Ziyun's eyes suddenly lit up. He realized that if he used Feng Wu as a shortcut, he might soon exceed Sheng Changtian. Sheng Changtian was displeased when he saw that Chun Ziyun wasn't discouraged. He was showing off, but Chun Ziyun wasn't jealous. Instead, it gave Chun Ziyun some motivation. Chun Ziyun, don't you have something to say? Sheng Changtian stared at his archenemy. Chun Ziyun said, What? About His Royal Highness's guard? Of course, I want to become one. Sheng Changtian glanced at Chun Ziyun and found his claim ridiculous. After getting satisfaction from showing off in front of Chun Ziyun, Sheng Changtian couldn't be bothered to speak to him anymore. He stared at Feng Wu, but was lost in thought. Chapter 2848, Competition 23. Chapter 2848, Competition 23. He thought, Did I speak too much? I'm supposed to be an impressive cultivator. His Royal Highness never says too much, and it only makes him more mysterious. Hence, Sheng Changtian stopped talking, but he didn't look away from Feng Wu. She was so pretty, and he found her very attractive. Sheng Changtian let his imagination run wild. He even thought about marrying Feng Wu and having children and grandchildren with her. The idea only excited him more. She's the one. Sheng Changtian made up his mind. Meanwhile, Feng Wu saw Chu Yun walking to the back of the tower. Feng Wu frowned and wondered where she was going. She followed Chu Yun. She then saw Chu Yun knocking on a door. That door normally wouldn't open, but it was open now. Feng Wu also noticed that there was a rhythm to Chu Yun's knocking. 3 long taps followed by a short one. Chu Yun then waved her number plate at the person who answered the door. Feng Wu recognized the person. It was Yuan Bao, the little monk who served Master Ling Hu. Yuan Bao had visited Feng Wu before and led her to Master Ling Hu. What was he doing here? Right? Feng Wu remembered that just like Yuan Bao, Master Taihe was from the Wandering Temple. It wasn't surprising that Yuan Bao was here. What surprised Feng Wu was that Chu Yun was cheating. She couldn't stand it. Feng Wu was going to try her luck this time. Seeing that Chu Yun was coming toward her, Feng Wu hid behind some shelves. Chu Yun was probably feeling guilty about her conduct, so she left as soon as possible. Feng Wu smiled when she saw Chu Yun leave. If her opponent decided to try using her connections instead of luck, she would do the same. She knocked on the door with the same rhythm. Yuan Bao lost his patience. He shouted from the other side, Stop this! Haven't I told you already? I'll let you eat the food for that favor we owe you. Why are you? He opened the door and saw someone he didn't expect. Feng Wu smiled at him. Sister Feng Wu, I missed you so much. Chu Yun came back with a gloating smile on her face. Chu Chu happened to lead Gong Sun Mu into the room at that moment. Since the other team had Chu Yun, Dynasty team decided they should have a tutor here as well. However, no one thought about Zhuqing Wan. Chun Ziyun and his team had been ignoring Zhuqing Wan since the incident in the secret essence mine. Of course, the other students didn't know what had happened and still thought of her as a vice chief. When Gong Sun Mu saw Chu Yun, he frowned and asked, Did you go to the back room just then? Chu Yun glanced at him. What? Do I have to ask for your permission to go to the bathroom? Gong Sun Mu looked away and ignored her. Chu Chu said, We're going to try our luck today. With Xiao Wu here, maybe Master Taihe will pick us. Gong Sun Mu shook his head and asked Ji Xingyun, How many number plates are there today? 76, Ji Xingyun said briskly. Chapter 2849, Competition 24. Chapter 2849, Competition 24. Gongsun looked at this team. Are you going to try your luck? That's 1 in 76. The others shrugged. Gongsun said, Today is your competition. As your vice chief, I should give you a gift for this special occasion. Master Taihe owes me a big favor. He has agreed to cook me a meal to return that favor. I'm going to use that opportunity today. Did that mean that they didn't need to try their luck today? Dynasty team cheered loudly. The military team was displeased. However, Chuyin smiled at Gongsun. Aren't you a little too late to do that? What do you mean? Gongsun stared at Chuyin. Chuyin only went on smiling. Have you used it already? Gongsun eyes widened. Chuyin still wouldn't say anything. Gongsun face went livid. You've crossed the line. I saved him, not you. Chuyin shrugged. So? I've used it already. Gongsun shouted. You. Both teams were watching them. They seemed to realize what was going on. Master Taihe seemed to owe the two of them a favor, but Chuyin used that opportunity for herself. She glanced at Gongsun, knowing that there was nothing he could do. Sheng Changtian and his team members gloated and kept giving Dynasty team provoking looks. Chen Ziyun and his team were furious. Even someone as mild-mannered as Gongsun was furious. Chen Ziyun stared at Ji Xingyun. Does that mean our number plate is useless? Ji Xingyun hadn't seen that coming either. It was very rare for Master Taihe to owe other people a favor. This was the second time he had used his feast to return a favor. Ji Xingyun gave Chen Ziyun an apologetic look. I'm so sorry. I didn't know this was going to happen. Other Imperial College students waiting in the room were infuriated as well. They had all planned to give the opportunity to Dynasty team if they were chosen. Maybe that one meal would increase their cultivation level. Of the 76 numbers, only one number belonged to their opponent, but they still lost. They couldn't accept it. Sheng Changtian was elated to see the angry faces. He smiled at Chen Ziyun. Chen Ziyun, you've lost to me in every possible way. You're not a spiritual king, and you can't eat Master Tai's food, even when we're in your territory. Chen Ziyun ground his teeth in frustration. Sheng Changtian was right. They were in his territory, but he had lost. Feng Wu glanced at Sheng Changtian. Are you really that blind? My captain is a spiritual king. Can't you see that? What? A spiritual king? To detect another person's cultivation level, one needed to activate their spiritual essence. Chapter 2850, Competition 25. Chapter 2850, Competition 25. Sheng Changtian never thought much of Chen Ziyun, so he had never checked the latter's cultivation level. He finally did so. Feng Wu was right. You're a spiritual king, too. Sheng Changtian stared at Chen Ziyun. Chen Ziyun glanced at him. Why are you so surprised? Sheng Changtian couldn't believe Chen Ziyun's tone. However, Sheng Changtian managed to pull himself together almost immediately. He glanced at Chen Ziyun and smirked. You should have been a spiritual king a long time ago. What took you so long? Why are you so proud? Chen Ziyun didn't like his tone at all. Sheng Changtian shook his head. Your team only has one spiritual king. That won't bother us. Feng Wu stared at Sheng Changtian and wondered if something was wrong with his eyes. Right, I forgot. Sheng Changtian smacked his forehead. Little Feng Wu here is a spiritual king, too. How impressive. You don't get to call her Little Feng Wu. All 8 members of the Dynasty team shouted at him in unison. Their stern tone almost made Sheng Changtian jump. He frowned at them. It almost felt like they were defending their own sister. Since when were the students of Imperial College so united? The military team was surprised when they heard that both Chen Ziyun and Feng Wu were spiritual kings, but they weren't surprised for long. They had at least 3 spiritual kings and believed that they would win. Those 2 spiritual kings would only affect the process but not the result. However, the other students were astonished. What? Their team had 2 spiritual kings now. Did that mean they still had a chance? The news soon spread. All the students of Imperial College were thrilled. Holy crap! Feng Wu is a spiritual king. OMG! I can't believe she was in the same class as me a few days ago. My classmate is a spiritual king. I treated her as my enemy. I said things behind her back. I did those things to a spiritual king. I'm doomed. Class E students cheered at the top of their lungs. So did the students of classes D, C, and B. As for Class A, the students were used to Feng Wu's unbelievable rate of progress. They just wished she could graduate as soon as possible and stop shocking ordinary people on a daily basis. They used to think they were elites and geniuses, but when Feng Wu arrived, they felt like idiots. They didn't find it surprising that Chun Ziyun was a spiritual king. Unlike Feng Wu, Chun Ziyun made progress at the same speed as other ordinary students. However, does that mean we have a chance to defeat the military academy? That's right. 2 against 3. I think we have a chance. Let's watch the competition. I want to cheer for our team. Chapter 2851, Competition 26. Chapter 2851, Competition 26. Jixingyan came out at that moment. Sheng Changtian sneered at Qin Ziyun before turning to his team members. Let's get ready to go in. Great! The others were all excited. They were in Imperial College. However, they had taken Dynasty Team's opportunity in their territory. It felt so satisfying. They couldn't begin to describe that feeling. Let's eat. LV Haobei and the others all gloated. Chu Yun gave Gong Sun Mu a provoking glance and felt utterly fantastic. All the Imperial College students on the ground floor had stopped eating. Their faces turned livid. They all felt humiliated. This was so frustrating. They all wanted Ji Xingyun to tell them that Chun Ziyun's team could go in. Unfortunately, that wasn't going to happen. Chu Yun had told everybody she had asked the master to return the favor. This is unbelievable. Chun Ziyun ground his teeth and clenched his fists. You're going to pay for this. He glared at Sheng Changtian. Sheng Changtian laughed. We're going to pay? How? When? You don't need to show us the way. I know where it is. Chu Yun smiled at Ji Xingyun. Ji Xingyun felt conflicted. She raised an arm and blocked Chu Yun's way. What? Chu Yun frowned at Ji Xingyun. Ji Xingyun smiled. I'm sorry, but you can't go in. Chu Yun smirked. Then who can? Ji Xingyun pointed at Feng Wu. Them. What? The entire room fell silent. For a moment, everybody forgot to breathe. After that, they sucked in their breaths. Chun Ziyun was the first to react. Us. Chun Ziyun pointed at himself. Are you sure? Ji Xingyun nodded with a smile. Yes, that's what I've been told. Chu Yun finally realized what was happening and stared at Ji Xingyun. No, that's not possible. Ji Xingyun shrugged. That's the truth. Chu Yun glared at her. That can't be. You're lying. This can't be happening. That's the only explanation. Ji Xingyun frowned. She was very easygoing, but as the owner of Star Cloud Tower, she had her temper as well. She stared at Chu Yun. You don't get to talk to me in that tone. You're not welcome here. Get out. Ji Xingyun knew what Chu Yun had done and found her behavior despicable. She had no problem scolding this woman. Chu Yun stared at Ji Xingyun in disbelief. How dare the owner of a restaurant shout at her? She was the assistant dean of the military academy. Ji Xingyun smirked. I don't care what your job title is in the military academy. It means nothing here in Imperial College. If you want to give me a speech, become the vice chief of Imperial College first. Chapter 2852, Competition 27. Chapter 2852, Competition 27. Chu Yun was so frustrated that she shook from head to toe. Feng Wu clapped her hands. That was very well said. She liked Sister Xingyun a lot. Fine. Chu Yun sneered at Gong Sun Mu. That's so nice of Imperial College. You cheated in the competition, and you didn't even try to hide it. Gong Sun Mu, is that how you teach your students? If you won't discipline her, I'll do it for you. Chu Yun was going to take action when she heard an impatient voice. Yuan Bao came into the room. The little boy walked in with a big frown on his face. He was annoyed. Master Linghu always stayed in the temple, and Yuan Bao represented him in the secular world. It wasn't common knowledge, but the tutors of both schools knew it. Chu Yun and Gong Sunmu were both surprised by Yuan Bao's arrival. They both lowered their heads, but stole glances at the boy. Chen Ziyun and the other students weren't senior enough to know who Yuan Bao was, so they were still eyeing him curiously. Gong Sunmu and Chu Yun scolded them. "Lower your heads." "What?" Chen Ziyun and the other students were all confused. Gong Sunmu was seldom so stern, and it only showed how much the boy had startled him. They all did as they were told and lowered their heads. Both Chen Ziyun and Shang Changtian's teams did so. Yuan Bao walked up to them. His words were directed to Chu Yun only. "Shut up. How dare you raise your voice here?" Yuan Bao's tone was very domineering. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. She only remembered Yuan Bao as the lovely shy boy who always enjoyed good food. She almost couldn't recognize him now. She then looked at Chu Yun. The woman lowered her head and let Yuan Bao scold her. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. She realized once more how much ordinary people respected Master Linghu. Even the arrogant Chu Yun bowed her head to Master Linghu's little messenger. Yuan Bao stared at Chu Yun. "I've decided to give the meal to Sister Xiaowu. Do you have a problem with that?" Sister Xiaowu. Was he referring to? Everybody glanced at Feng Wu. Only Chu Yun could describe how she felt. Her face turned scarlet red at the boy's words, but she still had to squeeze out a smile. "No, of course not." Yuan Bao snorted, threw a dirty look at Chu Yun, then ran to Feng Wu's side. He looked up at her with eyes filled with admiration. He tugged at her clothes. "Sister Xiaowu, the master needs me, so I'll be off. I've saved the table for you. No other team can touch it." Feng Wu rubbed his little bald head. "That's great. Thank you, my dear Yuan Bao." "You're welcome." Unlike his harsh tone when he scolded Chu Yun, Yuan Bao was a lovely boy when he spoke to Feng Wu. He gave Feng Wu one last look before he reluctantly took his leave. Once he was gone, the others raised their heads and looked at one another in wonder. Chapter 2853, Competition 28. Chapter 2853, Competition 28. Chen Ziyan wanted to ask questions, but he chuckled instead when he sensed Shang Changtian's stare. "Xiaowu, let's go inside. The meal belongs to us now." Chen Ziyan glanced at Shang Changtian in satisfaction. Apparently, that favor wasn't as useful as it seemed. Shang Changtian recalled how he had shown off earlier, only to be stopped at the door. His face turned bright red. Of course, the greatest humiliation was felt by Chu Yun. She stared at Feng Wu from behind, and there was a malicious look in her eyes. She hated Feng Wu. However, she feared the girl as well. What was Feng Wu's relationship with Yuan Bao? It wouldn't be too complicated if she were just Yuan Bao's good friend. However, things would be very complicated if Master Linghu was involved. Feng Wu and her team smiled at Chu Yun when they walked past her. Chu Yun was astonished. They were provoking her. And there were also Imperial College students around them. They looked at the military college students as if they were a joke. They pointed at the military team and laughed among themselves. As if that wasn't enough, they also stole glances at the team. They made it so obvious. Chu Yun and Shang Changtian didn't react to their behavior, but the rest of the team wasn't as unperturbed as they were. They flushed red. Chu Yun sneered at Gong Sunmu. "Do you think you've won? Do I have to remind you that we're in the middle of a competition? This meal means nothing. I was going to make it easy for you, but now you'll be sorry for what you've done. Let's go." Chu Yun led the team away after she threatened the others. Her words affected the students, but not as much as before. Imperial College had won the junior team competition and the meal. Both times, it happened because of Feng Wu. Her team doted on her now. Everybody loved her. Needless to say, Master Taya's dishes were delicious and effective. After they ate, Feng Wu told them to go to the arena immediately. Everybody was perplexed. Sun Yu said, "We still have 2 hours before the final competition. Why don't we go back to our own arena and take a break? No. Fengwu was very adamant. To the arena. Now. Everybody was confused. However, Fengwu was the most beloved team member now, and everybody listened to her. All 8 of them went to the arena. The indoor arena could fit 10,000 spectators. The competition would start in 2 hours, but people were already coming in. From the high platform, one could see all of the audience. 10% of the seats were occupied. Although it wasn't their home game, the military college would still send a lot of students here to watch the final competition. Imperial College was on the left, and the military college was on the right. It was clear-cut. Just then, Chapter 2854, Competition 29. Chapter 2854, Competition 29. Just then, Choo-Choo put his hands on his lower abdomen. My Dantian feels warm. So does mine. Why does it feel like I'm making a breakthrough? The others exchanged bewildered looks. It wasn't just one of them. At least 6 people clutched their stomachs and said that it felt like they were about to make breakthroughs. Fengwu grinned. Do it then. I'll guard you all. Make the breakthrough. Choo-Choo looked at her in wonder. Is this the effect of Master Tai's food? The others stared at her in amazement as well. That was amazing. This shouldn't be happening. Other students had eaten the food before. The meal was offered once a month. Although everybody praised the effect, it had never been on this scale. The reaction came too soon. Chunzian gave Fengwu a knowing look. She had gone into the kitchen earlier. That had to be the reason. If the girl said she had nothing to do with it, he wouldn't believe her. At that thought, he raised an eyebrow at Fengwu and gave her a meaningful look. Fengwu had nothing to say. The audience was amazed when they saw the team members suddenly sit down and start cultivating. They were indeed the best students of Imperial College. They only had a little time left before the competition, but they were still trying to cultivate. How amazing! Wait, Yihan, who was sitting in the audience, widened her eyes. Xiao Xiao glanced at her. What? Yihan said. Did you notice that? Choo-Choo made a breakthrough just then. I felt it. Xiao Xiao sensed Choo-Choo's spiritual essence and nodded in amazement. Yes, I feel it too. He hasn't reached the next level, but he's half a level higher than before. What? Shit. Yihan was so thrilled that she blurted out. Look at Li Zhan. Wasn't he severely injured before? He looks perfectly all right now. He has advanced as well. The spiritual essence around him is different from the others. Xiao Xiao tried to sense it as well. Yihan was right. Li Zhan isn't the only one. Zhao Si is doing it too. Xiao Xiao was so excited that he was almost in tears. Why are they making such rapid progress? Yihan said, Rumor is that they went to eat Master Tai's monthly feast. Xiao Xiao said, so that food is really as amazing as they say. Yihan and Xiao Xiao looked at each other. Ling Hao and the others were thrilled as well. We'll go there every month from now on. I'm sure we'll get lucky one day. Many people thought the same way. It seemed Master Tai would have a lot more customers for a long time. That news couldn't be kept a secret. The military academy soon caught wind of it. Imperial College had given the military academy students their own rooms. Right now, they were all sitting in their rooms in seclusion. It wasn't for their cultivation. Everybody knew cultivation was a lengthy process and couldn't be rushed. They were only sitting there to calm their minds. Chapter 2855, Competition 30. Chapter 2855, Competition 30. Just then, someone ran into their area to look for Chu Yun. It was Chiu Ziyu. He used to be Chu Yun's student and knew her well. Do you want to talk to me? Chu Yun had a good impression of Chiu Ziyu. Chiu Ziyu looked at Chu Yun and said earnestly, I suggest you go to the arena now. Chu Yun was perplexed. What? Chiu Ziyu had never been so serious before. You'll regret it later if you don't go now. I've said what I'm here to say. It's up to you. That's all I can do for you. He was going to leave after that. Chu Yun frowned and stopped him. Why are you helping us? Chiu Ziyu didn't speak. Chu Yun said, You're a student of Imperial College. Why do you want to help us? It was a competition between the two schools. It would affect the honor and future of both schools. Xiaoziyu was from Imperial College. Why would he do the military academy such a favor? Xiaoziyu stopped, turned his head, and looked at Chu Yun with eyes filled with hatred. Even Chu Yun jumped at that look. It seemed that Xiaoziyu hated Imperial College to the bone. However, that look reassured Chu Yun. She went inside and roused the students. Let's go to the arena. Something's happening. The students were all perplexed. Chu Yun didn't know exactly what was going on, but Xiaoziyu had come all the way to tell her, so it had to be something big. You'll see when you get there. Chu Yun led the way. Had something happened in the arena that would stop the competition from taking place today? She didn't want that to happen. They were in a hurry to get to Peace Grassland. Everybody was anxious. They arrived at the arena in no time. Seeing Gong Sun Mu standing there, Chu Yun walked up to him and asked, "Can we have the competition on time or not?" Gong Sun Mu was watching Sun Yu in astonishment and completely ignored Chu Yun. Chu Yun was displeased, thinking Gong Sun Mu was ignoring her on purpose. "Gong Sun Mu," she shouted. Gong Sun Mu was startled. He frowned when he turned around and saw Chu Yun. "Be quiet," said Gong Sun Mu. However, Chu Yun was furious. She was about to lose her temper when she saw something. She noticed Sun Yu. Then she was shocked. OMG. She couldn't believe her eyes. That couldn't be happening. What did she see? She saw spiritual essence wrapping around Sun Yu like a cocoon. He was absorbing this web of spiritual essence. Chu Yun had been there before. She knew perfectly well that once he finished absorbing the spiritual essence, he would become a spiritual king. A spiritual king. Chu Yun panicked. Chapter 2856, Competition 31. Chapter 2856, Competition 31. Imperial College already had 2 spiritual kings. If he made the breakthrough, they would have 3. The military academy only had 3 spiritual kings. That was the only reason they thought they would win. Were they going to lose that advantage? No. Chu Yun wouldn't allow Imperial College to have a 3rd spiritual king. She was going to sabotage the breakthrough when she heard a cold voice in her ears. "Chu Yun, remember, this is Imperial College." The voice sounded like it was from hell. It sent a chill down her spine. She was the only one who could hear it. This was the technique of sending a message to one specific person. Only a spiritual king or above knew this technique. Chu Yun shuddered. She already knew who was warning her. It was Elder Wu. Chu Yun realized he was right. She was in Imperial College's territory. How could she tamper with anything? If they had been in the military academy. Chu Yun sighed. Meanwhile, the military academy students were cursing in their minds. Shit, why is Sun Yu? Ow! Sheng Changtian and LV Haobei exchanged a complicated look. They had thought they would definitely win, but things wouldn't be so easy now. LV Haobei remained confident. He said casually, "They're all new spiritual kings. Their levels aren't stable, and they haven't learned any cultivation techniques yet. They won't be our match." Lu Qinghe agreed. There was no need to worry. They were still a much better team. The military academy was definitely going to win. However, Sheng Changtian frowned when he looked at the other students. Wait, Sun Yu wasn't the only one. All the Imperial College students had improved to some extent. Sheng Changtian had detected their cultivation level earlier when they were in Star Cloud Tower, so he knew what they were like before. They've all made some progress. Sheng Changtian was a little flustered. He could understand if only a couple of them made progress. However, it was a big deal if all of them did it. It's been less than an hour, and they've all improved by at least half a level. What's going on? Sheng Changtian ground his teeth. If a team could make improvements together, that was a terrifying idea. Lu Qinghe smacked his head. Shit, is it because of Master Taihe? Didn't they say eating Master Taihe's food might help improve a person's cultivation? They ate it, and they've all become better. Lu Qinghe and the others were so jealous. That feast should have been theirs. That opportunity should have been theirs. Jealousy and rage almost drove them crazy. Sheng Tian reacted in time and noticed their unstable mood. He said, "Calm down, all of you." The whole team immediately quieted down. Sheng Tian said, "Do you know why they're not cultivating inside? Do you know why they're taking the risk to cultivate on stage?" Chapter 2857, Competition 32. Chapter 2857, Competition 32. The others all looked at him. Lu Qinghe was the first to realize it. Shit, they're doing it on purpose. Who came up with that idea? How sly. Everybody looked at him. Lu Qinghe said, "They're deliberately cultivating here to distract us and boost their confidence. It's such a clever move." Sheng Tian, LV Haobei, and Lu Qinghe were spiritual kings. Tang Mingjiang and Sun Jinyuan were level 9 spiritual lords. The Imperial College students were cheering loudly for Sun Yu's breakthrough. Sheng Tian looked from them to their own seats. Because of their arrogance, their seats were still empty. He suddenly had a bad feeling. He couldn't pinpoint it, but he felt uneasy. He turned to his team. "Let's summarize our opponents. Chun Ziyun, Feng Wu, and Sun Yu are new spiritual kings. Li Xiaochu is a peak level 9 spiritual lord, and Wang Nian and Wang Xiao are advanced level 9 spiritual lords." However, Lu Qinghe glanced at Dynasty Team and said quietly, "Wang Nian just became a peak level 9 spiritual lord." Sheng Tian didn't know what to say. Their opponents had just become stronger again. Was Imperial College going to win this year? Sheng Tian took a deep breath. "Let's see what we've got. LV Haobei, Lu Qinghe, and I are spiritual kings. Tang Mingjiang and Sun Jinyuan are peak level 9 spiritual lords. We and our opponents have exactly the same levels. We both have 3 spiritual kings and 2 peak level 9 spiritual lords, but we have a better chance because we made the breakthroughs earlier than they did. We've mastered the cultivation techniques for a longer time." "Captain," Lu Qinghe smiled bitterly. "That may not be the case. Do you want to say this isn't a away game for us?" Sheng Tian frowned. "I'm sure we can overcome that disadvantage." Lu Qinghe reminded him, "We lost the junior game." Sheng Tian's face darkened. That was right. That meant Imperial College would determine the sequence of their 5 players. Shit. Sheng Tian had forgotten about that fact, which was why he had been so proud. The idea was a hard blow to his confidence. Sheng Tian gave Lan Xiefeng a dirty look. How could they have lost that competition? Lu Qinghe said, "Captain, glaring at Lan Xiefeng won't change anything. Since Feng Wu is a spiritual king, our junior team couldn't have won." Tang Mingjiang was displeased. "Isn't she ashamed of fighting for the junior team? She's a spiritual king." Lu Qinghe said, "I asked around. That Miss Feng Wu only finished the paperwork to join the team today." The others were speechless. Lu Qinghe smiled bitterly. Even some of her team members questioned her qualifications to join them, so there was no way they would have put her on the varsity team. "We also thought that she was a weakling at first." The others were speechless. Lu Qinghe glanced at Chu Yun. Miss Chu insisted that Feng Wu only won because Lan Xiefeng led her. The others were speechless. That was so embarrassing. "Forget about Feng Wu." Sheng Tian frowned. "We must win this competition. I'll use that thing if I don't have any other choice." Chapter 2858, Competition 33. Chapter 2858, Competition 33. All his team members knew what he meant. They all knew that method, but because they had thought they would win, they never expected to use it. However, Feng Wu and her team were leaving them no other choice. Sheng Tian smirked. "Feng Wu is too proud. She probably has yet to show all her cards." LV Haobei also sneered. "She'll pay for her pride." Lu Qinghe said, "Being a spiritual king has made her so arrogant. We'll teach her a lesson." Tang Mingjiang and Sun Jinyuan smiled smugly. Meanwhile, Feng Wu's team was still feeling excited. Chunzian looked from Feng Wu to the other team members and said casually, "Isn't that spirit wine so precious to you? Why did you put in our food?" Feng Wu said, "Did I? Do you have evidence?" Chen Ziyun didn't. He was intrigued. She had done a good thing. Why wouldn't she tell anybody? Why stay anonymous? Feng Wu wanted to shake her head. Of course, she wanted to remain anonymous. Letting the others know would only create endless trouble. There were so many tutors and students in Imperial College. They could all come to her to ask for some spirit wine. If they only wanted a drop, would she give it to them or not? Therefore, she didn't give it to Elder Wu. However, she secretly helped her team. Chu Chu was the first to finish cultivating. He ran to Feng Wu in excitement. Xiao Wu, I've improved. I'm a level 9 spiritual lord too." Feng Wu pointed at Sun Yu. "Holy crap." Chu Chu saw that Sun Yu had become a spiritual king. He then realized that all his teammates had made great progress. He said, "Master Tai's food is so powerful." They were making progress as a group. Dynasty team had never felt so good. "They're staring at us." Chu Chu glanced at Shang Changtian's team and smirked. "He's glaring at me. He's such a bad loser." By then, everybody had finished cultivating. They were all in high spirits, and nothing could wipe the smiles off their faces. Feng Wu and Chen Ziyun went to the side to discuss the sequence for the other team, and the other members were left on stage. "From now on, we're going to the Star Cloud Tower every month to see Master Taiha." The others all nodded. "Do you really think our progress was because of Master Taiha?" Wang Yin asked tentatively. "Is it not?" The others were intrigued. "I thought it was Master Taiha, too, but I heard Captain Shan talking to Xiao Wu just then. She added something to the dishes, which is why we all made progress." "What did she add?" "I think it was the legendary spirit wine." "Holy shit. Spirit wine? I heard about it from my tutor. She said everybody used to make fast progress when the school had a lot of spirit wine. No one got stuck at the spiritual king stage. However, the spirit wine ran out." Chapter 2859 June 1. Chapter 2859 June 1. Other people might think the spirit wine has run out, but Elder Wu mentioned that Xiao Wu found a bottle of spirit wine in the secret essence mine. What? She was almost buried alive, and she was still able to bring out a bottle of spirit wine? Yes. Elder Wu tried to ask her for some, but she wouldn't give him any. But she added some to the dishes we ate. How did Sun Yu become a spiritual king? How do we all make progress? It's all because of Xiao Wu. Wow. After that, everybody knew what had happened. Feng Wu was the reason they had all made progress in their cultivation. Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu. Everybody ran to her side. Feng Wu had just figured out the sequence for the other team with Chen Ziyun. The spirit wine was supposed to be a secret, so they couldn't thank Feng Wu openly. However, they still felt they should say something. Both the spirit wine and Master Taiha's dishes had come from Feng Wu. No one could deny that. They all looked at Feng Wu, but didn't know what to say. Feng Wu knew what they were thinking. She glanced at them and said, "You're going to jump over a cliff if you can't win this battle." "Yes, of course." Everybody nodded. Sun Yu stared at Feng Wu in excitement. He had made the greatest progress of all of them and had become a spiritual king. Without Feng Wu's help, he might never have become one in his lifetime. "I won't allow anyone to disrespect you in the future," Sun Yu said solemnly. "If they do, I'll kill them, along with anyone who tries to spread rumors about you." Feng Wu didn't know how to react. Just then, she saw people coming into the arena, and more kept coming. There hadn't been that many people during the junior team competition. Not only was the auditorium full, the judges had arrived. Chunzin knew Feng Wu didn't know most people here, so he explained to her, "The military academy students all sit in the area on the left. They're here to support their team. Because it's an away game for them, they take up only about 1/3 of the seats. The area on the right belongs to our school. They didn't want to watch us at first, but the seats are all occupied now. I think they have some confidence in us. Look there." Chen Ziyun pointed at the judges. "The 2 seats in the middle belong to the 2 people with the highest authority from the 2 schools during this competition. Elder Wu will represent our school. That elderly man represents the military academy. He's Gongshu Hongzhu, a major general in the army. His status in the military academy is the same as Elder Wu in our school. Next to Elder Wu is Mr. Gong Sun Mu, and next to Major General Gong Shu is Miss Chu Yun. We're still waiting for one more person. Feng Wu asked who. The chief judge. Shun Ziyan gave Feng Wu a meaningful look. His Royal Highness, the sixth brother of His Majesty, has been the judge for as long as I can remember. This year is no exception. His Royal Highness? Feng Wu asked. Is he the one who is away all the time and lives like a wandering ranger? Chapter 2860 June 2. Chapter 2860 June 2. Qinzian said, yes. Not only is His Royal Highness a capable man, he's strict and impartial. He's been our judge all these years and has never missed any competition. When he comes, just then, they hear noise outside. It was a hubbub of excited voices. I think His Royal Highness is here. Shun Ziyan smiled, but he was perplexed. His Royal Highness was an ordinary-looking middle-aged man. He didn't look like a royal member, and the energy he gave off reminded one of a sharp sword. People usually stayed away from him. Why was there so much noise? It wasn't like he was the crown prince. Just then, he heard an excited voice. His Royal Highness, the crown prince is here. What? Everybody was astonished. His Royal Highness, Jun Linyuan. Seriously? Soon, a teenager walked into the arena. Wrapped in a black robe, his perfect figure reminded one of a pine tree. He had smooth skin and deep-set features. As he walked, his energy seemed to spread to the entire arena. Everybody felt a chill run down their spines. Feng Wu frowned a little when she saw Jun Linyuan. What is he doing here? Why did he come? Feng Wu asked Chen Ziyun. Isn't it supposed to be the crown prince's uncle? Chen Ziyun was equally perplexed, but he reacted quickly. Since the crown prince is here, is it possible that His Royal Highness will be the chief judge today? Feng Wu said, Are you sure? While they were talking, other people were already greeting Jun Linyuan. The audience was thrilled. Yihan grabbed Ling Hao's hand. It's His Royal Highness. It's the crown prince. She didn't dare make too much noise, so she controlled herself and lowered her voice. Ling Hao was equally excited. It's him. It's him. Gosh, I never thought I could be so close to His Royal Highness. Ziling was also excited. She held Chaoga's hand and trembled with excitement. Chaoga! Chaoga! Look, it's His Royal Highness. It's the crown prince. Just like all the other girls, Ziling was over the moon. Why aren't you excited? After her initial excitement, Ziling was perplexed when she saw the look in Chaoga's eyes. Chaoga said, Why are you so excited? It's only the crown prince. Ziling's eyes widened. It's only the crown prince? Chaoga, you're so arrogant now. Why do you make it sound like you can see His Royal Highness all the time? Chaoga rolled her eyes. She saw the crown prince all too often. He seemed perfect, but all he wanted was to steal Xiao Wu away. Chaoga pouted. However, she didn't dare say any of that out loud. When Jun Linyuan was around, she was as obedient as a lamb. Hearing Ziling's question, she thought, I've seen the crown prince so many times. I even ate with him on several occasions. All the judges stood up and looked at Jun Linyuan. Gongshu Hongzhu lifted his chin in an arrogant manner. He pushed Elder Wu out of the way and sat down in the seat that was the closest to the crown prince. Chapter 2861 June 3. Chapter 2861 June 3. Jun Linyuan hadn't come alone. He had a few people with him. Feng Sun and Xian Yi were by his side, followed by Feng and a few others. Gongshu Hongzhu moved closer and wanted to greet Jun Linyuan when Feng Sun frowned. General Gongshu, outsiders must stay 2 meters away from His Royal Highness. Only people like Feng Sun and Xian Yi could stay within a meter of him. Gongshu Hongzhu's smile stiffened. He wasn't discouraged. Instead, he took a step back and smiled at Feng Sun. Thank you for your reminder, my lord. Your Royal Highness, this way, please. To the students, Gongshu Hongzhu was a supreme figure. However, Gongshu Hongzhu was nothing compared with Jun Linyuan. He hardly ever had a chance to meet Jun Lin Yuan, let alone approach him. Being a judge this time had given him a great opportunity. From the moment he walked in, Jun Lin Yuan didn't look at anybody. He would only glance in a certain direction every now and then. Hey, Chen Ziyan tugged at Feng Wu's sleeve. Do you think His Royal Highness has been looking in our direction? Feng Wu said decisively, no. Chen Ziyan gave her a strange look. No? Are you sure? Feng Wu repeated, definitely not. Chen Ziyun was confused. I really don't understand you. It was obvious that the crown prince had been looking this way. Suddenly, he felt a chill run down his spine. He looked up and was frozen on the spot. OMG, the crown prince was looking at him. No, to be more precise, the crown prince was glaring at him. Captain, what's wrong? Sun Yu was perplexed. Chen Ziyun couldn't form a coherent sentence. He was panic-stricken. A thought struck him. Thump, thump, thump. He took a few steps away from Feng Wu. The power that threatened to crush him suddenly disappeared. He had guessed correctly. The crown prince really had a thing for Feng Wu. Feng Wu was perplexed. Why are you moving away? Come over here. Chen Ziyun waved his hand in a fluster. I'm sweating. I'll just stand over here. Feng Wu was about to walk to his side, but Chen Ziyun waved his hands repeatedly. Please don't come near me. I could just stand here. Really? If Feng Wu moved any closer, he would burst into tears. Feng Wu frowned and wondered what was wrong with the man. Just then, Chu Chu jumped out of nowhere. Xiao Wu, Xiao Wu. He made a gesture, trying to put his arm around Feng Wu's shoulder. It was only a gesture because he knew Feng Wu would react quickly and dodge his arm. Chen Ziyun watched in horror. All he could think of was Chu Chu's miserable death. It was too late to stop him. Chen Ziyun stuck out his foot and stuck it between Chu Chu's legs. With a thump, Chu Chu fell to the ground, face first. Chu Chu was speechless. He didn't know how that had happened. Chapter 2862, June 4. Chapter 2862, June 4. Chen Ziyun then looked in Jun Lin Yuan's direction. Jun Lin Yuan was talking to Elder Wu and wasn't looking at him, but Feng Sun gave him the thumbs up. Boss Feng was pleased. Chen Ziyun let out a breath of relief and grinned. He understood everything now. It was so obvious. He couldn't understand how Feng Wu could refuse to accept reality when it was obvious that the crown prince liked her. Why? Still lying face down on the ground, Chu Chu wailed. Only then did Chen Ziyun realize he had kicked Chu Chu to the ground, so he immediately helped his teammate up. Are you all right? Does it hurt? Chen Ziyun feigned a concerned tone. Chu Chu was perplexed. Captain, was that you? Chen Ziyun said, Chu Chu, you're a big boy now, so be smart, or you'll get yourself killed one day. Chu Chu said. Chen Ziyun said, you're a boy, and she's a girl. Keep your distance. And don't call her Xiao Wu. Chu Chu was dumbfounded. What should I call her? Chen Ziyun said, anything but Xiao Wu. You can even call her boss Xiao Wu. Understood. Chu Chu nodded. Chen Ziyun reminded everybody how to address Feng Wu correctly so that all his teammates could stay alive. Sun Yu was confused. Captain, are you in love with F? The crown prince immediately shot a glance in their direction. Chen Ziyun felt his hair stand up. No, I'm not. Chen Ziyun glared at Sun Yu. If I have inappropriate thoughts about her, let me be condemned forever. Sun Yu was frightened. He didn't understand why his captain was so serious. Chen Ziyun whispered, watch your mouth. You'll get us in trouble. Sun Yu didn't quite understand what he meant, but he had a clue and glanced at the crown prince. By then, everything was ready. Everybody fell silent. Chu Yun had been trying to strike up a conversation with the crown prince, but Jun Lin Yuan stopped her with a harsh look. Just then, Gong Sun Mu said, shall we start the competition now? Jun Lin Yuan nodded. Chu Yun glanced at him. Shouldn't His Royal Highness be the one to make that decision? Gong Sun Mu looked at Jun Lin Yuan. Jun Lin Yuan looked at the crowd, but Feng Wu was the only one he could see. He didn't look at Chu Yun and only said, Gong Sun, you can do it. He knew Gong Sun Mu well. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked Gong Sun Mu to look after Feng Wu. Gong Sun Mu nodded and made the announcement. The two teams were asked to go on stage. Chu Yun threw a dirty look at Gong Sun Mu and was determined to find an opportunity to talk to the Crown Prince. The audience fell silent for a brief moment after the announcement. Then everybody cheered and applauded. The voices went through the roof. The audience clapped for several minutes until the two teams were ready to go on stage. The military team was led by Sheng Changtian. Dynasty team was led by Chun Xiun. Chapter 2863, June 5. Chapter 2863, June 5. Chun Xiun was the first player, followed by Feng Wu, Sun Yu, Wang Yin, and Li Xiaochu. Wang Xiao used to be one of the team members. For some reason, he didn't make any progress this time and had to sit on the bench instead. The junior team members were substitutes for the varsity team. The competition would sometimes go into overtime, and the substitutes would compete instead. Sheng Changtian was filled with excitement. He and Chun Xiun stood very close to each other. Sheng Changtian seemed pleased. He glanced at Chun Xiun. His Royal Highness is the referee this time. Chun Xiun nodded. I know that. Sheng Changtian said. He's the honorary president of my school. Chun Xiun said, all right. Sheng Changtian glanced at him. Do you think your breakthroughs can affect us? Chun Xiun said, so? Sheng Changtian said, with His Royal Highness here, my team will definitely win. Chun Xiun said, are you suggesting His Royal Highness will be biased toward you? Sheng Changtian found the question idiotic. Wasn't that obvious? Chun Xiun rolled his eyes at Sheng Changtian. Sheng Changtian said, what's that supposed to mean? Chun Xiun offered no explanation, but he looked quite pleased. The last thing the Crown Prince would do was take the military academy side. However, Chun Xiun was going to keep that piece of information a secret. He wanted to see the look on Sheng Changtian's face when he finally found out about the relationship between Feng Wu and the Crown Prince. It would be incredible. Sheng Changtian frowned. Somehow, he felt Chun Xiun was up to something, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Gong Sun Mu's face darkened when he saw Chun Xiun and Sheng Changtian whispering to each other. Without hesitation, he said, Dynasty team, please announce the order of your players. While Jun Linyuan was the chief referee, Feng Sun and Xian Yi didn't have anything to do, so they went to sit with Chaoga. Chaoga was sitting with Ziling, Yihan, and a few others. There were some empty seats beside her, so she waved at Feng Sun and Xian Yi when she saw that they were looking for seats. Over here. At first, the others didn't know who she was waving at, but then they saw Feng Sun and Xian Yi coming their way. Ziling didn't know what to say. Yihan was speechless. The other people around them also stiffened. Young Lord Feng Sun was coming here, and so was young Lord Xian Yi. They weren't just a pair of ordinary young lords. They were the only childhood friends of the Crown Prince. Their words carried more weight than that of many government officials. What are you doing there? Chaoga patted the seat next to her. These seats haven't been taken yet. Sit down. The competition is about to begin. Feng Sun and Xian Yi nodded and sat down. They had come here at the last minute, and almost all the seats had been taken. It took them a while to find Chaoga. The school had left seats for them, but Feng Sun didn't want to sit there. He liked to blend in and listen to the voices of the ordinary students. Chapter 2864, June 6. Chapter 2864, June 6. Everybody was astonished. Duan Chaoga just waved her hand, and Feng Sun came over. Well, they're very close, but none of them asked anything. They remained straight in their seats and kept their gazes on the stage. In fact, they had all pricked up their ears to listen. Why are you all here? Chaoga asked Feng Sun. Yihan was amazed. By the sound of it, Duan Chaoga seemed to be very familiar with young Lord Feng. She kept listening. Feng Sun said, somebody heard that somebody else was going to be in the competition. You know what I mean? Chaoga immediately got the hint. I see, but the others were confused. They heard everything, but they understood nothing. Who was somebody? Yihan was dumbfounded. She glanced at Chaoga before looking at Jun Linyuan again. His Royal Highness. He was so handsome. His every movement looked as beautiful as a picture. Gong Sun Mu said, Dynasty team will announce the order of the players on the military team. The military academy section of the audience erupted in rage. What? Why does Dynasty team get to decide that? There must be a mistake. The Imperial College students were pleased. Of course there's no mistake. Your school lost the junior competition. The military academy students said, How is that possible? The Imperial College students said, Of course it's possible. Why do you think we're the ones announcing the order of the players? The atmosphere was tense even before the competition started. Chun Ziyun then made the announcement. Tang Mingjiang will be the first to compete, followed by Sun Jinyuan, Lu Qinghe, LV Haobei, and Shang Changtian. The audience frowned. That order was from the weakest player to the strongest. Shang Changtian had been the first player the year before, and he had single-handedly defeated Dynasty Team. After a lengthy discussion, that was Imperial College's plan this year. Why? The audience and judges were all confused. Even Dynasty Team didn't understand. All the team members looked at Chun Ziyun. Chun Ziyun shrugged. It's Xiao Wu's decision. Chu Chu said, Xiao Wu, what's the reasoning behind that order? Having been taught a lesson by Chun Ziyun, Chu Chu had almost called Feng Wu Boss Wu, but he decided Xiao Wu sounded better. Feng Wu said, I just want to give everybody a chance to take part in the competition. Chu Chu asked, Is that all? Feng Wu said, That's all. The others were speechless. On second thought, they decided Xiao Wu was too wise to make such a simple decision. There had to be something behind it. Everybody's eyes lit up when they thought about the possibility. Both teams had 3 spiritual kings. Although Dynasty teams were newer and weaker, they still had a chance. The team was excited. But right at that moment, buzz! They heard the sound of fluctuating spiritual essence. It was something that had happened to Sun Yu before. The audience stirred. Dynasty team grew uneasy. The sound came from the military team. Chapter 2865, 1 verses. 5:1. Chapter 2865, 1 verses. 5:1. Everybody looked at the military team. It was Sun Jinyuan, the second player. He had just become a spiritual king. OMG, this shouldn't have happened. The military academy now had 4 spiritual kings. How did that happen? The Imperial College students felt defeated. That was such bad news. They lost all hope. For spiritual kings, they wouldn't stand a chance. In contrast, people of the military academy were smiling in satisfaction. So what if you can decide the order of our players? We're so much more capable than you. No matter how you arrange our players, we can still crush you. I knew it. There's no way we'll lose this competition. The military academy is invincible. Some of them even started singing. Ling Hao and his friends were furious, but they didn't know how to retort. They could only insist that 3 of them could defeat 4 opponents. Needless to say, their opponents sneered at them. Meanwhile, the competition finally began. Tang Mingjiang was the first player from the military academy. Everybody was eager to see who the Imperial College would send first. Were they going to send Chun Ziyun, their strongest member, or Wang Yin or Li Xiaochu, their weakest? Chun Ziyun looked at Feng Wu. He still had some say in the team when the Crown Prince wasn't here. However, His Royal Highness was here now, and he seemed very protective. Chun Ziyun didn't have a death wish, so he waited for Feng Wu to make the decision. The other teammates were perplexed and didn't know why their captain wouldn't say anything. Chun Ziyun ignored them and only looked at Feng Wu. He would do whatever Feng Wu told him to. Feng Wu looked at Chun Ziyun. Are you sure about letting me command the team? Chun Ziyun nodded. Yes, you can pick whoever you want. Feng Wu tilted her head. I think if we want the maximum effect, we should use the fewest number of people to defeat the most number of opponents. Chun Ziyun said, Of course. Feng Wu said, In that case, I'm sorry, guys. The others were confused. Why are you apologizing? Feng Wu said, The military team is yelling about how Shang Changtian and LV Haobei defeated our team last year, and they're so pleased. Chun Ziyun and the others were embarrassed. It was true. It only took the military team 2 members to defeat the dynasty team the previous year. It was such a humiliation. Feng Wu said, "How do you think we should return that favor and leave them with no excuse?" Sun Yu said, "The only way to do that is to defeat all 5 of them with 1 player." He knew that wasn't possible. Feng Wu nodded. "You're correct." "What?" Everybody gave her strange looks. What was that supposed to mean? Feng Wu said, "Only one of us will fight this time. We'll rob them of all their confidence." Chapter 2866, 1 verses. 5 2. Chapter 2866, 1 verses. 5 2. What? Everybody stared at her in disbelief. What is she talking about? Was she even hearing herself? Chun Ziyun was astonished. "Feng Wu, aren't you a little too confident?" Feng Wu said, "Don't worry about me. I'm only apologizing because you guys probably won't get to compete this time." Sun Yu said, "It's not that, Xiao Wu. We don't mind whether we compete or not. All the better if it can help us win, but," he said gingerly, "His Royal Highness is up there, and I think the military academy is going to slaughter us. None of us want to get beaten in front of the Crown Prince." Wang Yin and Li Xiaochu nodded as well. Feng Wu said, "That's good. If it could be avoided, she would rather stay out of this competition." However, the military academy was too arrogant, and she had to teach them a lesson. Countless people had looked down on Feng Wu and questioned her capability. They said she was a good doctor and formation master, but she couldn't fight. Really, Feng Wu decided to demonstrate her capability in this competition. Gongsun Mu was urging them. "Dynasty team, please send your first player now." Everybody looked in their direction and wondered who would be the first to be defeated. Feng Wu walked up the stage. Her red dress set off her fair skin and bright eyes. When the lower hem of her dress flapped in the wind, she looked like a fairy. No one could take their eyes off her. "Feng Wu, she was the first player." Yihan cried out, "I thought she would come out much later. She's about the second best player on the team. Isn't it a bit too early now?" The military academy students asked, "Who's that? A new spiritual king? Never heard of her before, but she's really pretty." Boys were very generous when it came to pretty girls. Feng Wu and Tang Mingjiang were both on the stage now. Tang Mingjiang was amazed by Feng Wu's good looks, but he soon regained his posture. He frowned. "Isn't it a bit too early for you to come up?" Feng Wu said, "No." Tang Mingjiang said, "You should be fighting a spiritual king. That's the fair way to play." Feng Wu said, "Why should I be fair to you?" Tang Mingjiang was taken aback, but he smirked. "Even if you're a spiritual king, I'm still better than you." Feng Wu said, "We'll see." She didn't give Tang Mingjiang any chance and immediately drew out her fallen star sword. The first stance. Sword of the other world. Thump. She had practiced that stance countless times in the secret essence mine. Tang Mingjiang wanted to parry the strike, but he never thought that Feng Wu's strike would be so powerful. It was like a tightly woven net that he couldn't break free from. The sky went dark and thunder rumbled. Boom! A streak of lightning struck Tang Mingjiang. Whoosh! The sword left a mark on him from the top of his head all the way to his waist. Chapter 2867, 1 verses. 5-3. Chapter 2867, 1 verses. 5-3. If the cut was any deeper, it would slice him in half. Tang Mingjiang stared at Feng Wu in astonishment. All the audience stared at Feng Wu as well. That was so fast. I know Tang Mingjiang is a level 9 spiritual lord, and Feng Wu is a spiritual king. He's supposed to lose, but why did he lose so soon? It only took Feng Wu one strike to defeat him. All the Imperial College students were shocked. The military academy students were shaken as well, but they soon recovered. Don't worry about it. That's only the first round. Feng Wu must be trying to destroy our confidence. That's why she used her most powerful strike right away. That's right. Sun Jinyuan is next. He just became a spiritual king. He'll teach Feng Wu a lesson. They were all trying to intimidate Feng Wu. The military academy students found her quite pretty at first. However, after seeing how fierce she was, they didn't like her so much anymore. Meanwhile, on the other side, Chu Yun was displeased. Feng Wu has always been an arrogant girl, and she's getting worse. Gong Sun Mu, is that how you've been teaching your students? Chu Yun was alarmed when she saw how the crown prince couldn't keep his eyes off Feng Wu, so she tried to slander her. Gong Sun Mu only rolled his eyes at Chu Yun and wouldn't reply. Chu Yun got even more frustrated. Feng Wu stole our meal in Star Cloud Tower, and she's fighting like this now. Who does she think she is? Jun Linyuan hadn't paid much attention to Chu Yun, but she wouldn't stop talking. He cast a stern glance at Chu Yun. His eyes were so dark that they looked like bottomless pits. Chu Yun felt a chill run down her spine. A pair of invisible hands seemed to wrap around her neck to choke her. She was overwhelmed with fear. What was going on? She tentatively raised her head and stole a glance at Jun Linyuan. She had to be mistaken. However, she looked into a pair of cold eyes. She felt her blood curdle. Chu Yun was frightened. She turned away and lowered her head. Her mind had gone completely blank. She had never felt so terrified before. By then, the second round had started. Feng Wu versus Sun Jinyuan. The Imperial College students were concerned because Feng Wu was a girl. The military academy was very confident because Sun Jinyuan was a spiritual king. Even if Sun Jinyuan can't defeat Feng Wu, he'll still badly injure her. Lu Qing said in a sorry tone. LV Haobei rolled his eyes. Then you'll defeat her without an effort. Why are you sighing? Lu Qing shook her head. I don't want that. I want a fair game. Chapter 2868, 1 verses. 5-4. Chapter 2868, 1 verses. 5-4. LV Haobei said, I don't think you'll get what you want. Lu Qing said, I know. Sun Jinyuan and Feng Wu should be of the same level. It'll take them a while to finish this battle. He then raised his eyebrows. I actually hope Sun Jinyuan can lose because I want to see this girl up close. LV Haobei said sternly, Lu Qing, this is a competition between two colleges. Stop hitting on girls. Lu Qing stuck out his tongue. What a pity. I'm sure Sun Jinyuan won't give me that chance. Meanwhile, Feng Wu and Sun Jinyuan's battle had begun. Sword of the Other World. Feng Wu used the same stance. She only knew 3 stances because that was all her beautiful master had taught her. 3 stances were more than enough. Sun Jinyuan couldn't withstand even one of them. As soon as Feng Wu struck, Sun Jinyuan was overwhelmed by the pressure. The shockwave spread from Feng Wu toward him. It was as if heaven and earth had changed color. Lu Qing sprang to his feet and stared at Feng Wu. Everybody held their breaths. It was the same stance, but it was much more powerful than when Feng Wu fought Tang Mingjiang. The sword's energy filled the air. There was killing intent between the two players. Feng Wu's sword arrived before Sun Jinyuan had time to react. Run! Sensing the danger, Sun Jinyuan tried to escape. But the spiritual essence surrounded him, blocking his way. Everybody clenched their fists. The Imperial College wondered if Feng Wu could defeat Sun Jinyuan. The military academy wondered if Sun Jinyuan could dodge the strike. As it turned out, he couldn't. When he turned to run, the sword hit him in the back. Whoosh! The tip of the sword slid across his back. No one knew what Sun Jinyuan was wearing, but they could tell it was made of metal. They saw something when the tip of the sword slid down his back. Buzz! Sparks were created from the friction of metal colliding. Sun Jinyuan's robe was sliced open, revealing the metal armor below. It was made of a special metal. Even so, the armor was almost cut in half. Sun Jinyuan touched his back, and the armor fell off in 2 halves. His forehead was covered in cold sweat. That was so terrifying. If it hadn't been for the armor, he would have been cut in half. He turned around and glared at Feng Wu. He had exerted the power of a spiritual king. He had thought the two of them should be of the same level, but Feng Wu obviously had the upper hand. However, Feng Wu, is that all you've got? Sun Jinyuan smirked. After the battle with Tang Mingjiang and that strike just then, you've used up your spiritual essence. It's my turn now. Sun Jinyuan was going to use his most lethal strike. Lu Qinghe shook his head. Feng Wu is doomed. Even if she can survive this, she'll still be severely injured. Sun Jinyuan is angry, and he's going to use his most powerful strike, Shadow. That was the killing strike that Sun Jinyuan was the proudest of. Chapter 2869, Chosen 1-1. Chapter 2869, Chosen 1-1. That was the killing strike that Sun Jinyuan was the proudest of. He had practiced it countless times. Sun Jinyuan smirked. He believed that Feng Wu's spiritual essence had run out, and he was still in peak condition. He was going to show Feng Wu how capable he was. Shadow. Feng Wu, you're going to die here today. Sun Jinyuan growled. The next second, he disappeared from the spot. Everybody had been watching Sun Jinyuan because he said Feng Wu was going to die. They were astonished when Sun Jinyuan disappeared. Where's Sun Jinyuan? How'd he do that? Look, there's Sun. Before that student could finish, Sun Jinyuan had reappeared behind Feng Wu. Sensing this, Feng Wu suddenly turned around. But Sun Jinyuan wasn't there anymore. On your left. When Feng Wu looked to her left, Sun Jinyuan was gone once more. Sun Jinyuan was moving faster and faster. In the end, Feng Wu seemed to be surrounded by him. They were all afterimages left by his fast movements. Lu Qinghe sounded sorry. I knew it. As soon as Sun Jinyuan uses Shadow, Feng Wu is finished. LV Haobei nodded. That's right. Lu Qinghe said, I was looking forward to fighting her. It's too bad I won't get that chance. LV Haobei nodded. She's pretty. I don't think Sun Jinyuan will kill her. Lu Qinghe agreed. She's so pretty. It'll be a pity if she's severely wounded. I would pity her. They didn't try to keep their voices down. Why is it a little chilly? Lu Qinghe crossed his arms and saw that his hair was standing up. LV Haobei frowned. Does your neck feel cold? Yes. Lu Qinghe nodded. My back is cold, like death is on me. They looked around, but couldn't tell why they were feeling that way. Both saw fear and bewilderment in each other's eyes. Was it a ghost? Meanwhile, Feng Wu was in a disadvantageous position. Sun Jinyuan kept changing directions and striking out with his blade. Feng Wu was busy parrying his strikes. Captain, what do you think? Sun Yu asked nervously. Chen Ziyun said casually, she won't lose. The other team members were amazed. Why are you so sure? Feng Wu was obviously losing. Chen Ziyun leaned against a column and smiled. Even if Sun Jinyuan is better than Feng Wu, he won't dare defeat her. Don't worry. He wouldn't dare. Everybody was speechless. Why is that? Is she some sort of chosen one? Chu Chu asked curiously. Chen Ziyun looked at the man that couldn't keep his eyes off Feng Wu. He chuckled. That's right. She's the chosen one. Chapter 2870, Chosen 1-2. Chapter 2870, Chosen 1-2. The Chosen One. Everybody looked at Chen Ziyun and shook their heads. No one believed him. They ignored the indifferent Chen Ziyun and discussed it among themselves. Captain Chen is too confident. I don't believe him. That's right. I think he's infatuated with Feng Wu. I don't know where he gets that kind of confidence. Don't mind him. What do you think are the chances of Feng Wu winning? Chu Chu asked. Sun Yu said 30%. Wang Yin said 20%. Li Xiaochu said, I think lower than 10%. Chu Chu was speechless. You don't have any confidence at all. Li Xiaochu rubbed his nose. She already defeated Tang Mingjiang. I think she's done her job. He had a point. Hence, everybody agreed that Feng Wu was going to lose. Once they accepted that, they didn't feel so flustered anymore. Even her teammates felt that way, so the audience had even lower expectations. Yihan rubbed her hands. I only hope Feng Wu can badly injure Sun Jinyuan before she loses. That way, the next player could defeat Sun Jinyuan. Feng Sun gave her a strange glance. Yihan asked gingerly, "My lord, did I say something wrong?" Her coy tone gave Chaoga the creeps, and she snapped at Yihan. "Of course you're wrong. Xiao Wu is invincible. She's going to defeat all 5 of them." Yihan was speechless. She didn't want to talk to Chaoga anymore. She found her confidence insufferable. Chaoga said, "I mean it. Xiao Wu is going to defeat all 5 of them. Just wait and see." Yihan rolled her eyes and muttered, "Stop bragging already." Chaoga snorted and ignored her. Up on the stage, Feng Wu stood still and narrowed her eyes. Sun Jinyuan was fast, but he wasn't nearly as fast as she was. This battle had only lasted this long because it was part of her plan. She couldn't reveal her real strength all at once. Sheng Changtian was a tough enemy. She couldn't raise his guard. She would show her cards one at a time. That would be much more interesting. By now, they had exchanged 10 blows. Feng Wu had given Sun Jinyuan enough time. While Sun Jinyuan was still jumping around like a clown, Feng Wu flipped her hand. The next second, Sun Jinyuan froze on the spot. His eyes widened in disbelief. Feng Wu caught him by the throat with her fair fingers. "No, that's not possible." Sun Jinyuan felt his mind go blank, and he couldn't move a muscle. Feng Wu had rendered him immobile. Chapter 2871, Chosen One 3. Chapter 2871, Chosen One 3. He had lost all strength and almost fell to his knees. Everybody else was as shocked as he was, if not more, because they had thought Sun Jinyuan would win. Hadn't Sun Jinyuan cornered Feng Wu? Wasn't she losing? Why? How did Feng Wu grab Sun Jinyuan's neck and subdue him? The military team, dynasty team, and the students of both colleges were all speechless. Everybody seemed dumbstruck and didn't know what to say. Yihan pointed at Feng Wu. Has she really won the battle? No one knew how conflicted Yihan felt. She ran into Feng Wu on the first day of school and saw Feng Wu as an enemy because Feng Wu was too pretty. Unfortunately, the two of them ended up in the same dormitory and had a fight. Yihan put a hand to her chest. She couldn't understand how bold she had been then. She had once been hostile toward Feng Wu. She used to be Feng Wu's enemy and tried to set Feng Wu up. Yihan buried her face in her hands and wanted to erase all those memories. It was so embarrassing. Chaoga was very pleased. When the others remained silent, she was the only one who said, "He's just one spiritual king. Xiao can fight 3 more. Everybody stared at her in amazement. Gosh, why did she have to say such a thing? The 3 remaining players wouldn't be as easy to handle as Sun Jinyuan. Gongshu Hongzhu said, "I didn't know Feng Wu was so talented." The crown prince finally glanced at him. Of course his girl was talented. However, Gongshu Hongzhu didn't stop there. But she's too arrogant. She tried to hide her real capability when fighting Sun Jinyuan. She'll die on a real battlefield. Of course, Gongshu Hongzhu wasn't going to compliment his enemy. He would only say bad things about Imperial College students. Feng Wu's actual quality didn't matter. She belonged to the other team. Gongshu Hongzhu wouldn't treat her any other way. He was a member of the military academy, so he would discredit the Imperial College students in front of the crown prince in every possible way. He didn't notice that the little smile on Jun Linyuan's face had disappeared as his eyes darkened. Gong Sun Mu knew better, so he interjected, "No, she won't die. Concealing her true power is a good thing. It means that she's more than capable enough to defeat Sun Jinyuan." Gongshu Hongzhu smirked. "She's only slightly better than Sun Jinyuan. We still have 3 more players." He then glanced at the crown prince. He wanted the crown prince to know that the military academy still had much more capable fighters. Chapter 2872, Chosen One 4. Chapter 2872, Chosen One 4. Gongshu Hongzhu wanted the crown prince to become familiar with his team. That way, many of them would become the crown prince's guard one day. It would be a great honor for the military academy. Gong Sun Mu chuckled. I think Feng Wu is going to keep fighting. Maybe she'll defeat all 5 members of your team. Jun Linyuan glanced at Gong Sun Mu, pleased by what he said. However, Gong Shu Hongzhu laughed. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. The crown prince's face darkened. Feng Wu was standing casually on the stage when another military team member showed up. His Royal Highness, this is Lu Qinghe. He's the 3rd best student in the military academy. Gong Shu Hongzhu tried to introduce his student. This was a great opportunity to let the crown prince know their faces. Jun Linyuan said grimly, all right. Gong Shu Hongzhu said, His Royal Highness, Lu Qinghe is a slim boy, but he's known for his great strength. Just wait and see. Feng Wu won't withstand one punch from him. The crown prince's expression was livid. Gong Shu Hongzhu wanted to say more good things about Lu Qinghe, but he felt the temperature drop, and the crown prince's eyes glinted coldly. He cringed and stopped talking. He thought Lu Qinghe had offended the crown prince before, and he cursed the boy in his head. Feng Wu and Lu Qinghe faced each other on stage. Lu Qinghe looked Feng Wu up and down. She was very beautiful from afar. Up close, she was stunning. Lu Qinghe was infatuated for a moment. Feng Wu didn't like the look in his eyes, and she frowned. Shall we begin? Lu Qinghe said arrogantly, You should give in. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. She found Lu Qinghe's request idiotic. What did you say? Lu Qinghe said, What are you waiting for? Surrender. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Was this man dumb? LV Haobei told Sheng Changtian, I didn't know Lu Qinghe had this gentle side. He knows Feng Wu can't defeat him, so he asked her to give in to avoid possible injury. He's usually a very upright man. He never shows girls such courtesy. Sheng Changtian chuckled. She's pretty. That's understandable. They didn't keep their voices down, and all the cultivators heard them. So did Feng Wu. If she could, she would curse them with all the swear words she knew. Many people thought Feng Wu should surrender now because she had defeated 2 people already. Even if she gave in, she would still earn much respect. Even the Imperial College students felt that way. Sun Yu also thought Feng Wu should stop while she could. Chapter 2873, So Proud. Chapter 2873, So Proud. Both Gong Shu Hongzhu and Chu Yun said that if Feng Wu didn't give in now, she would be humiliated when Lu Qinghe kicked her off the stage. Feng Wu smiled at Lu Qinghe. Is that what you think will happen? Lu Qinghe said, I'm already being very generous. Feng Wu said, There's something else you can do. Lu Qinghe asked, What's that? Feng Wu punched him in the stomach. Get out of my sight. Everybody was astonished. Because Lu Qinghe was the team member they were so proud of, and the one they didn't think could possibly lose. He had even told Feng Wu to give up. After Feng Wu hit him, he flew backward like a broken kite. It almost looked like something in a slow-motion video. Everybody's mouths fell open when they saw Lu Qinghe fly off the stage. The military team, dynasty team, and the students of both schools were astonished. They had been shocked when Sun Jinyuan lost. Now, they didn't know what to say. All eyes were on Lu Qinghe. They saw Lu Qinghe fly off the stage and over the audience toward the wall at the back. Thump! They only realized what had happened when Lu Qinghe smashed into the wall. It really happened. The battle was over. Gong Shu Hongzhu almost jumped to his feet. Jun Linyuan casually said, Did you say he's the 3rd best student in your school? Gong Shu Hongzhu didn't know what to say. He froze on the spot and didn't know if he should cry or not. He's not. He was too astonished to respond to the crown prince's sarcasm. Only then did the students realize what had happened. OMG. Feng Wu, am I seeing things? Did that really happen? Lu Qinghe was defeated without making a move. Students of the military academy wanted to cry. They had thought that Feng Wu would defeat Sun Jinyuan at most, and Lu Qinghe would win the battle without breaking a sweat. They didn't know how to react now. It was as if Feng Wu had punched them in the face, too. In contrast to their reactions, the screams of the Imperial College students went through the roof. Roar! They howled like wolves. They were so excited. It was so inspiring. Unlike when she fought Sun Jinyuan, Feng Wu defeated Lu Qinghe with one punch. Bravo! Feng Wu is the best. Feng Wu is invincible. Feng Wu. All the cheering wasn't enough to express their excitement. They aged to run onto the stage and toss Feng Wu up and down in the air. Chapter 2874, Archenemy. Chapter 2874, Archenemy. Gongsun Mu was so proud. Feng Wu did a great job. Recalling how the military academy had humiliated them the year before, he smiled even more widely. However, he feigned a modest tone. That's nothing, really. Xiao Wu's punch came a little too fast, and your third-best student was half a second too late. If he had reacted a little faster, Xiao Wu wouldn't have defeated him so easily, right? Gongshu Hongzhu threw a dirty look at Gongsun Mu. That man was obviously showing off how fast and clever Feng Wu was. Gongsun Mu cleared his throat. Well, you still have more players. There's no need to get upset. Chu Yin glared at him. Gongsun Mu, you're very talkative today. You're so happy, aren't you? Gongsun Mu used to be terrified of Chu Yin when they were married, but this time, he grinned. Well, I'm in a great mood today. Chu Yin ground her teeth. Gongsun Mu had changed. He wasn't as obedient as before. Had he stopped loving her? At that moment, someone jumped out of his seat and ran out of the arena. It was none other than Xiao Ziyu. No one knew how complicated his feelings were. He hated his former teammates, especially Chun Ziyun. However, he also burned with jealousy when he saw how all the team members had made progress because of Feng Wu. He had thought he would get his revenge when the competition started. He wanted Imperial College to lose. He wanted to see Feng Wu die. Reality slapped him in the face over and over again. He watched as Feng Wu defeated Tang Mingjiang, Sun Jinyuan, and Lu Qinghe. Xiao Ziyu couldn't sit still anymore. He needed to see Zhuo Qingwan. He knew Zhuo Qingwan and Feng Wu were archenemies, and he believed that Zhuo Qingwan had to know a way to handle Feng Wu. He ran as fast as he could. Finally, he found Zhuo Qingwan in her garden. Miss Zhuo, Miss Zhuo. Xiao Ziyu was panting from all the running. Zhuo Qingwan frowned. She was cultivating, and no one was allowed to disturb her. She was going to throw Xiao Ziyu out when he shouted, Feng Wu is going to win. What? Zhuo Qingwan's face darkened. She knew the competition was taking place, but she didn't have any interest in watching it. She was a vice chief of the academy and was too important to attend such a competition. Moreover, Gongsun Mu hadn't invited her, so she simply ignored the event. What did you say? Zhuo Qingwan opened the door with a wave of her sleeve. Xiao Ziyu rushed in and shouted, Miss Zhuo, I have bad news. Feng Wu has defeated Tang Mingjiang, Sun Jinyuan, and Lu Qinghe. She's getting all the attention. He knew how Zhuo Qingwan would react since she was someone who got jealous over the smallest thing. Chapter 2875, Feng Wu is prettier. Chapter 2875, Feng Wu is prettier. As Feng Wu's archenemy, of course Zhuo Qingwan couldn't live with that. It was incredible. Zhuo Qingwan didn't plan to intervene, but when she heard Feng Wu's name, she became very displeased. She stared at Xiao Ziyu. Keep talking, Xiao Ziyu said. Feng Wu has defeated Tang Mingjiang, Sun Jinyuan, and Lu Qinghe. Zhuo Qingwan rolled her eyes at him. She knew the level of all three students and had some idea of Feng Wu's level because she had fought her before. It didn't surprise her that Feng Wu had defeated the three boys. Is that it? Zhuo Qingwan asked indifferently. She didn't watch the competition because she didn't want to see Feng Wu win. Xiao Ziyu was taken aback. Was that news not enough to persuade Miss Zhuo? Fine. Xiao Ziyu played his last card. His Royal Highness is here too. Zhuo Qingwan paled. His Royal Highness? Are you sure? Her face went livid. She didn't want to see Feng Wu win, but what if Jun Linyuan saw it? He already was. No, he didn't like Feng Wu at all. Feng Wu just wouldn't leave his Royal Highness alone. What if His Royal Highness really fell in love with Feng Wu after seeing her fight? Zhuo Qingwan had a bad feeling. No. She sprang to her feet, her face dark. When did His Royal Highness come? She asked hurriedly. Xiao Ziyu knew he had caught Zhuo Qingwan's attention. His Royal Highness has been there since Feng Wu's first battle. His eyes lit up every time Feng Wu won. Zhuo Qingwan didn't know what to say. Xiao Ziyu glanced at her and added, what if she could defeat LV Haobei and Shang Changtian? Feng Wu bragged that she would defeat all 5 players of the military academy. If that really happens, she'll be so popular among the students. Moreover, His Royal Highness is watching too. He's your fiancé now, but what if he falls in love with Feng Wu? Xiao Ziyu tried to prod Zhuo Qingwan into action. I'm sorry to say this, but Feng Wu is prettier. Shut up. Zhuo Qingwan waved her hand, and Xiao Ziyu smashed into the wall. He fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Zhuo Qingwan glared at Xiao Ziyu as if she was going to kill him. The intimidating power made Xiao Ziyu's heart beat fast, and he didn't dare say a word. Zhuo Qingwan took out a dagger. The blade glinted in the sunlight. Xiao Ziyu paled. He was terrified. Was Zhuo Qingwan going to kill him? He had only been telling the truth. Zhuo Qingwan wasn't as pretty as Feng Wu. No, he shouldn't have said that. Was he going to die? He was about to beg for mercy when Zhuo Qingwan made her move. Instead of attacking Xiao Ziyu, she slid the blade across her palm. Chapter 2876, You Must Lose. Chapter 2876, You Must Lose. Xiao Ziyu stared at Zhuo Qingwan in astonishment. What was she doing? Zhuo Qingwan filled a small porcelain vial with her blood. The vial was only the size of her pinky. The color of the blood could be seen through the walls of the vial. It was as if the vial was on fire. It was such a strange scene that Xiao Ziyu felt uneasy. This is the true phoenix blood. Zhuo Qingwan handed the vial to Xiao Ziyu. It'll give the drinker a brief energy boost. Shang Changtian knows how to use it. Give it to him. He'll know what to do when the time comes. Zhuo Qingwan sounded both indifferent and confident. Shang Changtian knew how to use it. Had Zhuo Qingwan always been in touch with Shang Changtian? Did they have a deal? Xiao Ziyu felt he had been brought in on a secret. Zhuo Qingwan glanced at Xiao Ziyu. If a 4th person knows about this. Xiao Ziyu raised his hand. I swear on my life, I won't tell anybody. Zhuo Qingwan nodded and said proudly, You know what will happen. Xiao Ziyu's stomach fell. He regretted his decision and wondered if he had done the right thing by coming to Zhuo Qingwan. Somehow, he felt he had gotten himself into trouble. He was going to leave when Zhuo Qingwan's voice rang out behind him. Stop! Xiao Ziyu froze. Zhuo Qingwan didn't say anything at first, as if she was weighing something in her mind. Finally, she made up her mind. She took a phoenix-shaped jade pendant out of her pocket and gave it to Xiao Ziyu. Xiao Ziyu was perplexed. Zhuo Qingwan said, Tell Shang Changtian that he owes me a big favor. Was this pendant so powerful? Xiao Ziyu looked at it in bewilderment. It looked like an ordinary object. Why was it a big favor? Put a drop of true phoenix blood on the pendant, and it'll wake the thing inside, Zhuo Qingwan explained. Xiao Ziyu nodded and left right away. He wanted to get back before the battle ended. Zhuo Qingwan smiled as she watched Xiao Ziyu leave. Jun Linyuan, you care about Feng Wu so much. In that case, you can watch her die. It won't feel so good unless you're there when it happens. Zhuo Qingwan closed the door behind her and strolled toward the arena. Meanwhile, Feng Wu and LV Haobei were standing on the stage. LV Haobei had a stern look on his face. I didn't see this coming. I never thought you could defeat 3 people in a row. Feng Wu nodded. You're going to be even more surprised. LV Haobei grinned. No, you will definitely lose this time. Feng Wu said, Is that so? Chapter 2877, What a Shame. Chapter 2877, What a Shame. LV Haobei said, I became a spiritual king last year. I don't think you've been a spiritual king for that long. Feng Wu said, less than 3 days. LV Haobei said, have you learned the skills yet? Feng Wu said, no. LV Haobei said, have you stabilized your cultivation level yet? Feng Wu said, no. LV Haobei said, how are you going to win against me then? Feng Wu said, are you here to talk or to fight? The audience laughed. Feng Wu seems impatient. She must be. I would be impatient too if LV Haobei keeps on nagging. Shut up. He's a spiritual king. That's right. How strange. I used to think spiritual kings are so powerful, but after Feng Wu defeated 3 spiritual kings from the military academy, I don't respect them as much as before. Didn't they say the military academy was going to win? I think Imperial College has a better chance of winning now. The audience didn't try to keep their voices down. LV Haobei heard them. He used to be treated like a genius, and his face turned scarlet red when he heard those words. He stared at Feng Wu with eyes filled with hatred. Feng Wu shrugged. I'm not laughing at you. LV Haobei was furious. She wasn't laughing, but her indifference was worse. Feng Wu, I was going to show you some mercy, but if you have a death wish, I'll give you what you want. LV Haobei then made his move. He was good at swordplay. His sword was called Thunder, and he had mastered the sword energy. The sky was filled with rampant lightning. LV Haobei pointed the sword at Feng Wu. The thunder element. Yihan put a hand to her chest. It's the most useful element in battle and the hardest to master. Is Feng Wu going to be all right? Although Feng Wu had won 3 battles in a row, the others all attributed it to luck. They didn't think Feng Wu could defeat LV Haobei. The Dynasty team had lost miserably to LV Haobei's Thunder the year before. It was so humiliating. The memory was still fresh. They would never forget it. Feng Wu, watch out. Seeing the lightning rush toward Feng Wu, the students were so nervous that they held their breaths. Some even shouted, Feng Wu, you've already done a great job. Just give up. You're not LV Haobei's match. Many Imperial College students chimed in. They weren't shooting Feng Wu down, but were worried about her. Chuyan rubbed her chin and nodded. I knew it. Feng Wu will lose as soon as LV Haobei attacks. She's so much weaker than LV Haobei. Jun Linyuan smirked inwardly. Chu Yun went on, having no idea what the crown prince was thinking. 3 strikes. Feng Wu will be defeated within 3 strikes, and LV Haobei will leave some marks on her. Gongshu Hongzhu said, Feng Wu should consider herself lucky if she can come out of this alive. What a shame. Her pretty face is going to be destroyed by thunder. He glanced at Jun Linyuan as he spoke. Chapter 2878, Why? Chapter 2878, Why? Your Royal Highness, don't you agree with me? Jun Linyuan looked at Gongshu Hongzhu as if he was looking at a dead man. The energy in his dark eyes was as lethal as the sharpest blade. Gongshu Hongzhu didn't know what to say. He rubbed his neck, feeling uneasy. When he looked at the crown prince, he thought that he saw a smirk on his face. An idea suddenly struck Gongshu Hongzhu. Was His Royal Highness in love with Feng Wu? No, no. Gongshu Hongzhu then recalled the rumor he had heard before. His Royal Highness was supposed to be madly in love with Zhua Qingwan, the sacred lady of the Firmament Palace. Feng Wu was just a nobody. He calmed down and wiped off the cold sweat on his forehead. When he looked at the battle again, he thought he was going to have a heart attack. Because LV Haobei was losing, Feng Wu was attacking. When Gongshu Hongzhu looked up, Feng Wu just happened to strike out. Star and Moon, Thunder and Soul. The Thunder element. What Feng Wu used was the real Thunder element. The Fallen Star sword struck LV Haobei while everybody watched. Shit! Sheng Tian had been sitting idly in his seat, but he sprang to his feet when he saw this. He wasn't the only one who had that reaction. Even Chu Yun jumped to her feet. Her face went very pale. Because they were more capable, they knew the result earlier than the others. The audience were all looking nervously at the Fallen Star sword. They wondered if it would hit LV Haobei. LV Haobei looked astonished. He then panicked. Yes, he did. The sword energy was terrifying. Where did Feng Wu learn her skills? Why were there streaks of lightning around her sword? The rumbling sound suffocated LV Haobei. He couldn't believe it. Feng Wu had been using the fire element before this. If LV Haobei were to lose, he had expected to be defeated by fire. However, Feng Wu suddenly switched to the thunder element and was even stronger than LV Haobei. Run. That was his first reaction. However, the lightning had formed a web in the air. The crackling noise filled the air. LV Haobei looked up and was terrified. That was a scary lightning web. The web grew bigger, but it wasn't coming down. LV Haobei looked at Feng Wu. Amidst the lightning flashes, she looked very fair. Her dress flapped in the air. She closed her eyes and pointed her sword at the sky. The energy surged and was injected into the lightning web. Even the sky shook. So did the air and the ground. LV Haobei was no longer panicking, only because he was terrified. It felt like a sword was hanging above his head, and he didn't know when it would fall. How is that even possible? Chu Yun smacked the table, her lips trembling. Why? Why could she do that? She... Chapter 2879, Gong Sun Mu, You're Dead. Chapter 2879, Gong Sun Mu, You're Dead. Chu Yun smacked the table, her lips trembling. Why? Why could she do that? Why could she do that? How could she force LV Haobei's hand? That was LV Haobei, one of the best students of the military academy. He was the second best student in the academy. No, LV Haobei must have more cards up his sleeve. He can turn things around. I'm sure of it. Chu Yun tried to cheer herself up. Gongshu Hongzhu also nodded. Don't worry. This is only temporary. LV Haobei won't lose. How can he lose to such a girl? Such a girl? What girl? The crown prince had kept silent until now. He spoke in an indifferent tone, as if he didn't care about anything they were talking about. Indifferent. Behind the crown prince, Feng rolled his eyes. Gongshu Hongzhu said, Your Royal Highness, I remember who the girl is. She's Feng Wu, the girl who destroyed her own cultivation because she was too greedy. I don't know what happened, but she's cultivating again. It doesn't matter because her character won't take her very far. Even if she begs us to become a student of the military academy, we won't take her, right? Feng rolled his eyes again. This Gongshu Hongzhu had no idea how much danger he was in. The crown prince stared at Gongshu Hongzhu and smiled coldly. Gongshu Hongzhu was confused. Somehow, he felt the crown prince didn't like him very much. He had been trying so hard to please the crown prince. What should he do now? He was still trying to figure out his next move when a loud thump made him jump. He looked in the direction of the noise. Holy crap! A streak of lightning struck right down at LV Haobei. This can't be happening. Gongshu Hongzhu smacked the table. It's not that fast. Why couldn't LV Haobei get away? Gong Sun Mu offered a kind reminder. Or shall we use ground control so that LV Haobei can't move? He can only watch the lightning fall on him. Ground control. Gongshu Hongzhu's stomach lurched. Isn't that a lost skill? Why does she know it? Doesn't ground control use the earth element? Isn't she fire and thunder? How? Gong Sun Mu couldn't hide the satisfaction in his voice. The earth element is nothing. If our Xiao Wu wants to, she can master all the elements. Gongshu Hongzhu didn't believe a word of it. Just then, the crown prince glanced at Gong Sun Mu. Your Xiao Wu. Gong Sun Mu burst out in a cold sweat. He had been careless. He was over the moon after seeing Feng Wu win 4 times in a row, and he had forgotten a certain thing. He immediately said, No, yours. Feng gave Gong Sun Mu the thumbs up for his fast reaction. Gongshu Hongzhu, who had no idea what was going on, smirked. Gong Sun Mu, you're dead. Chapter 2880. Is Feng Wu His Royal Highness's fiancé? Chapter 2880. Is Feng Wu His Royal Highness's fiancé? Gongshu Hongzhu was so loud that everybody nearby looked at him instead of Feng Wu. I'm dead. Gong Sunmu looked at Gongshu Hongzhu in bewilderment. Gongshu Hongzhu said, "What did you say? You said Feng Wu is His Royal Highness's?" Gong Sunmu, you've just committed a capital crime. Gong Sunmu said, "What did I do?" Gongshu Hongzhu said righteously, "Don't you know that her engagement to His Royal Highness was annulled?" Gong Sunmu said, "I do, but..." Gongshu Hongzhu cut him off. "Do you know what that means?" "It means His Royal Highness doesn't like Feng Wu. No, he detests her." The Crown Prince was furious. Gongshu Hongzhu said, "Moreover, have you thought about the other young lady? She's going to be the Crown Prince's future wife." The Crown Prince himself had no idea what he was talking about. Gongshu Hongzhu said arrogantly, "You just said Feng Wu belongs to His Royal Highness. You should kneel and apologize." Gong Sunmu was speechless. Gongshu Hongzhu said, "His Royal Highness hasn't killed you because he's noble and lenient, but I can't let this go." Jun Lin Yuan was astonished. There was no expression on his face, but he felt like an erupting volcano inside. Feng wanted to give Gongshu Hongzhu the thumbs up. That sycophant was surprisingly unyielding now. Normally, Feng would have intervened and kicked Gongshu Hongzhu out, but he didn't do so. He pretended he hadn't heard anything. He wanted to see if the proud Crown Prince would finally admit that Feng Wu was his fiancée. Feng couldn't see Jun Lin Yuan's face from his angle, so he quietly moved around until he could see Jun Lin Yuan's profile. Meanwhile, Jun Lin Yuan gave Feng a stern look. Feng was speechless. He thought, "Your Royal Highness, why is it so hard for you to openly admit who the girl is to you?" Jun Lin Yuan's earlobes turned pink and his lips parted. Feng was thrilled. Yes, finally, he was going to say something. Do it. Feng could hardly control his excitement when he heard footsteps. He ignored them and kept his gaze on the Crown Prince. It would be such a shame to let this opportunity go to waste. Nobody as dumb as Gongshu Hongzhu would appear again. The footsteps moved closer and closer. "Miss Qingwan is here. Is she here to watch the competition? I heard she's the real fiancée of His Royal Highness. She's going to humiliate Feng Wu. I'm so nervous." Gongshu Hongzhu looked up to find Zhuo Qingwan strutting toward them. "Miss Zhuo, Sacred Lady Qingwan." He waved at Zhuo Qingwan in excitement. Zhuo Qingwan couldn't take her eyes off Jun Lin Yuan and moved toward him without knowing it. Gongshu Hongzhu asked the question everybody wanted to ask. "Miss Qingwan, is Feng Wu His Royal Highness's fiancé?" Chapter 2881. I Don't Believe You. Chapter 2881. I Don't Believe You. The entire arena became dead silent. Everybody on and off the stage turned to look at Zhuo Qingwan. Even the Crown Prince gave Zhuo Qingwan a grim look. Feng was secretly amused. His Royal Highness had been too shy to answer that question when he had the chance. Now that Miss Zhuo was here, things would become very interesting. Feng sighed inwardly that Granny Gong wasn't here to watch it. Many students of the military academy in the audience looked at Zhuo Qingwan and were amazed by her ethereal beauty. She has perfect posture. No wonder she's the sacred lady of Firmament Palace. Feng Wu has been calling herself the fiancée of His Royal Highness. The real one is here now, and she's going to be humiliated. Yes, she might have won 4 battles in a row, but it doesn't matter how capable she is. His Royal Highness's wife is the real winner. Tang Mingjiang, Sun Jinyuan, LV Haobei, and Lu Qinghe had been so upset that they wanted to cry, but now they all cheered up. Yes, it was a humiliation to lose all the battles, but they wouldn't feel so ashamed if Feng Wu suffered a bigger humiliation. They all gave Zhuo Qingwan eager looks. "Say it." Turned Feng Wu into a joke. Zhuo Qingwan only stood there and seemed embarrassed. Fans of the Dynasty team reacted differently. Chu Chu said, "Why is she here now?" She sure knows how to pick her timing, Sun Yu said with a grimace. Xiao Wu finally won 4 battles, and she's never been as popular as at this moment. If Zhuo Qingluan tells the truth, it'll destroy Feng Wu's confidence. Other people were also worried about Feng Wu's feelings. Only Chen Ziyun gave them a strange look. Why are you whining? Xiao Wu is obviously going to be the winner in the end. He was rather looking forward to Zhuo Qingluan's reply. The others glanced at their captain and turned away. Their captain was so naive that none of them would believe him. In the audience, Yihan put a hand to her chest. I'm so nervous. What should we do now? Chaoga, what should we do? Chaoga glanced at her. What do you mean? The engagement. Yihan panicked. Isn't the rumor that Feng Wu is His Royal Highness's fiancé? Zhuo Qingluan is here to clear things up, and His Royal Highness is here, too. They're going to turn Feng Wu into a laughingstock. Chaoga wanted to roll her eyes. And where did you get that idea? Yihan said. Feng Wu isn't His Royal Highness's fiancé. Chaoga said. She is. Yihan said. Zhuo Qingluan is the fiancé. Chaoga said. No, she isn't. Yihan said. Are you sure? Are you saying that Feng Wu is the fiancé? Is that true? Chaoga said. Yes. Yihan said. Like I'm going to believe you. Chapter 2882. His Royal Highness's Thoughts. Chapter 2882. His Royal Highness's Thoughts. Chaoga was speechless. Yihan said, I'm so nervous. Why is Zhuo Qingluan here? Can't she say it in private? Xiao Wu will be so embarrassed. Chaoga was speechless. Meanwhile, Gongshu Hongzhu felt he had waited long enough, so he asked Zhuo Qingluan again, Miss Qingluan, what's the matter? Do you have some scruples? He thought, please tell everybody you're the crown prince's fiancé. While all the people were looking at Zhuo Qingluan, she was looking at Jun Linyuan. Would he tell the truth if he made that announcement? But he hadn't said anything. Did that mean he wasn't sure about Feng Wu? I still have a chance. Yes, that must be it. At that thought, Zhuo Qingluan smiled at Gongshu Hongzhu. How about we wait until the competition is over? Gongshu Hongzhu could only smile wryly. Miss Qingluan, you're such a kind woman. That's so rare these days. Kind? Feng Wu shook her head. Zhuo Qingluan had drawn the most attention. So few people were watching Feng Wu. They all thought Zhuo Qingluan was the crown prince's fiancé, a title everybody envied. Feng Wu turned to Sheng Changtian. Your turn. Sheng Changtian sat quietly in his seat. He had been trying to figure out how Feng Wu had won 4 battles in a row. After replaying everything in his head, he still couldn't come up with an answer. Hence, he raised his hand. I request a timeout for an hour. The audience murmured. A timeout. Last year, Imperial College had asked for a timeout after each battle just to throw Military Academy into confusion, but it still couldn't change the outcome. What was Sheng Changtian doing now? The chief referee would decide if the request was granted. Usually, there wouldn't be any problem, so Gongshu Hongzhu wasn't worried at all. He looked at Jun Linyuan in expectation. Your Royal Highness, since Sheng Changtian, asking for the Crown Prince's opinion was only a formality. When the Crown Prince gave permission, Gongshu Hongzhu would announce the timeout. To Gongshu Hongzhu's astonishment, the Crown Prince suddenly snorted and spoke. Denied. What? The other people were as surprised as Gongshu Hongzhu was. Denied. Why? They didn't even know that was possible. Only Feng knew the answer. He thought, you fools have no idea what's going on in His Royal Highness's head. He knew, but he wouldn't tell anybody. He had a feeling that the engagement wouldn't be a secret for much longer. Gongshu Hongzhu was dazed and gave the Crown Prince a pleading look. However, he knew there was no room for negotiation once the Crown Prince made up his mind. Gongshu Hongzhu turned to Sheng Changtian and said sternly, let the last round begin. He believed Sheng Changtian was capable enough to defeat all 5 opponents, and starting the battle earlier wouldn't change anything. Sheng Changtian clenched the object in his hand. Qiu Ziyu had given it to him when everybody was looking at Zhuo Qingluan. Chapter 2883. Shang Chantian can die, but not Feng Wu. Chapter 2883. Shang Chantian can die, but not Feng Wu. He had wanted to communicate with Zhuo Qingwan, but it seemed he wouldn't get that chance. Realizing he was working with the future wife of the crown prince, Shang Chantian was very pleased. In that case, he rose to his feet and walked onto the stage. He had so many cards up his sleeve that he felt he could easily defeat Feng Wu. He replayed all of Feng Wu's moves in his head, and he believed he could win the battle without breaking a sweat. Shang Chantian, take them down, all 5 of them. While Shang Chantian was walking up to the stage, the military academy students cheered loudly. Shang Chantian was full of confidence. He raised his hand and gestured downward. Immediately, the military academy students quieted down. Not everybody could do that. The next second, Shang Chantian raised his fist. Victory belongs to the military academy. Wow! The silence was broken by the excited military academy students. They applauded and roared at the top of their lungs. Victory belongs to the military academy. Victory belongs to the military academy. Victory belongs to the military academy. Confidence was written all over their faces. They believed Shang Chantian would lead their school to victory. He would bring glory to them all. Gongshu Hongzhu was also thrilled. He turned to Jun Linyuan and said excitedly, "Your Royal Highness, that's Shang Chantian, our top student. He's amazing. Last year, he crushed Imperial College's team and brought glory to our school." Our school, Gongsun Mu, didn't like the sound of that. The Crown Prince was a graduate of Imperial College, not the military academy. Jun Linyuan's face remained expressionless. Gongshu Hongzhu went on. Shang Chantian is a peak level 1 spiritual king and can rise to level 2 at any moment. Last year on the battlefield, he took down 10 cultivators of his level all at once. After a year, he's much stronger than before. Your Royal Highness, Shang Chantian will bring victory to the military academy once more. Feng Wu will never be his match. I have a request. Everybody looked at him. What request? Gongshu Hongzhu said, "One never knows what will happen in a fight. Anyone can get injured easily, especially now." Jun Linyuan said, "Shut up." Gongshu Hongzhu said, "Your Royal Highness." He hadn't said what the request was yet. Feng cast a stern look at him. "Elder Gongshu, you want them to sign a disclaimer, so that neither is responsible for killing the other, don't you?" Gongshu Hongzhu was shocked. How did man know? Feng was very direct. Shang Chantian can die, but if anything happens to Miss Feng Wu, well... Gongshu Hongzhu was furious. What did he mean by that? Of course Shang Chantian couldn't die. He was the treasure of the military academy. Feng said, "Elder Gongshu, I think you should talk less." Gongshu Hongzhu was speechless. What was happening? Why were all his requests turned down? It was so humiliating. He rubbed his head and felt something was off. What was it? Chapter 2884, Killing Moves. Chapter 2884, Killing Moves. He carefully recalled everything that had happened today. He was sure he would be able to find out what went wrong. Meanwhile, Shang Chantian was talking to Feng Wu and didn't notice what was going on with the referees. He stretched out his hands and clapped. "Good job, Miss Feng Wu. I'm impressed," he said in a condescending tone. "I thought you were only a junior member at first. I guess everybody makes mistakes sometimes." Feng Wu said, "You make a lot more mistakes than that." Shang Chantian stared at Feng Wu for a while before he suddenly chuckled and shook his head. They were right. You don't take compliments well. Feng Wu said that. Shang Chantian said, "Did you think I was just sitting there while you were fighting? In fact, I found out everything about you." Feng Wu asked, "Is that so?" Shang Chantian said, "I've collected all the information on you. I know your most powerful stances, the elements you excel in, your defense ability, and your other fields of specialty." He felt very satisfied. Zhuo Qingwan was an excellent partner. She had gotten Xiu Ziyu to deliver all that information. A person who knew their enemy well was invincible. Shang Chantian thought he had seen through Feng Wu and could easily defeat her. Feng Wu looked at him. What information can you possibly collect in such a short time? Don't make me laugh. Sheng Chang Tian said, Young lady, I know a lot more than you think. For instance, I know the formations and medicines you're good at. Feng Wu narrowed her eyes. Who told you that? Sheng Chang Tian lowered his voice. Take a wild guess. Zhuo Qingwan frowned and thought. Sheng Chang Tian, do you have a death wish? Sheng Chang Tian felt a chill run down his spine. It suddenly occurred to him that Zhuo Qingwan was the crown prince's future wife, which meant he could get to know the crown prince through her. At that thought, he stared at Feng Wu, the girl Zhuo Qingwan hated. You're very brave, he said. You know you're going to lose, but you're still going to fight me. I admire your courage. Feng Wu said, You talk too much. Let's begin. She charged at him right after that. Striking first would help her gain the upper hand. Will Feng Wu win? Chu Chu asked Sun Yu nervously. Sun Yu said, What do you think? Chu Chu shook his head. I think there's no hope at all. Everybody turned to Chen Ziyun. Ziyun, what about you? Do you think Feng Wu will win? Chen Ziyun had always been the most optimistic one, but even he hesitated this time. Maybe, Sun Yu said, if even you aren't sure, then she's definitely going to lose. Chu Chu said, Feng Wu is only a junior level 1 spiritual king, but Sheng Chang Tian is a peak level 1 spiritual king. There's almost an entire level between them. By then, Feng Wu had exchanged 99 blows with Sheng Chang Tian. All her stances were killing moves. Feng Wu's face was cold and stern, whereas Sheng Chang Tian was fighting with just one hand. Even then, his movements looked unhurried. One hand was enough to fend off his opponent. Chapter 2886. Did she lose? 2. Chapter 2886. Did she lose? 2. Had Sheng Chang Tian been playing with Feng Wu until now? He had the upper hand earlier when he played around with Feng Wu. What would happen to her when he turned serious? It was so scary. Sheng Chang Tian had indeed turned serious. White flames spurted out from the tip of his sword. They surged into the sky like a shooting star. Anything can happen during a battle. I won't say sorry if I destroy your pretty face. Sheng Chang Tian finally realized how capable Feng Wu was. He no longer treated her as a weak girl, but as a real opponent. He took her seriously now. 9 wings. He struck out with his sword. Endless sword energy charged at Feng Wu, so ferocious that it seemed to tear the space open. Many people were filled with terror. The crown prince had been casually leaning back in his chair, but he narrowed his eyes a little. No one could describe that burst of energy. So far, Feng Wu had never met such a formidable opponent. She was a junior level 1 spiritual king, while Sheng Chang Tian was a peak level 1 spiritual king. She had just become a spiritual king, but he had been one for years. There was a huge gap between their power, but so what? Feng Wu's eyes burned with fighting spirit. Everybody thought she couldn't do it. Everybody thought she would lose. No one had any hope. Feng Wu smiled, and her dress flapped in the wind. I'm standing here today. I'll let the world hear my voice. She took a deep breath, and the fallen star sword appeared in her hand. Gaping ground, cracking ground, ground control. Icy ground, thunderground, fire ground. Feng Wu used the skills from the Guardian of the Earth. She had been practicing them for a long time. These were from a secret script that she had found in the tombs of the Senile Grassland a while ago. Before today, she had only used the first stance, but now she used all 9 of them. Daze, reduce speed, and freeze. The fallen star sword was ready to destroy. It took Sheng Chang Tian a long time to activate his most lethal move. He wanted to end the battle with one stance and enjoy the glory and admiration afterward. What he didn't know was that he hadn't learned enough about Feng Wu's skills from Zhuo Qingwan. The real Feng Wu was much tougher. He had never seen a junior level 1 spiritual king exert such power. Thump! Feng Wu's strike nearly cut the sky in half. It didn't stop there, but kept moving forward until it clashed with Shang Changtian's sword. Lightning filled the sky, and the clashing blades gave off a blinding light. The audience thought they were going blind. The scene was beyond description. Everybody watched with wide-open eyes. Who would win? Who would lose? It all depended on this strike. They saw spiritual essence ripple out from where the two blades clashed. It was as if a volcano had erupted. Boom! The collision set off an explosion. Everybody's face turned yellow-orange in the light. The spiritual essence was like tidal waves. White flame couldn't withstand the pressure. It shattered, and the shards fell to the ground. Chapter 2887. Did she lose? 3. Chapter 2887. Did she lose? 3. As everybody watched, the fallen star sword flew back to Feng Wu's hand. Her long red dress flapped in the wind. She looked as pretty as a picture. Her skin was as white as snow. She looked like a fairy descending to this world. Time seemed to freeze for a moment. No one made a sound. Holy crap! Everybody was astonished when they finally realized what had happened. The military academy students sat there, looking like they had been struck by lightning. The Imperial College students howled in excitement. OMG! I can't believe it! Did Feng Wu win? Did Feng Wu really win? Shang Changtian's white flame was destroyed, right? Please tell me that I didn't imagine that. Did someone say white flame would slaughter her, and that forcing Shang Changtian to use white flame was the best she could do? Not only did she force his hand, she also destroyed his sword. The Imperial College students were so excited that they seemed to lose their minds. All the past humiliation was gone. Members of Dynasty Team looked at one another. They didn't dare cheer loudly because they feared this wasn't real. Members of the military academy were speechless. No words could describe how shocked and devastated they were. Of the referees, Chu Yun was speechless. Gongshu Hongzhu didn't know what to say. They also looked like they had been struck by lightning. This isn't real. It can't be. How can this happen? Gongshu Hongzhu murmured. That's not possible. Gongsun Mu raised his chin and glanced at Chu Yun. How did Xiao Wu do? After all these years, he could finally get back at her. How did she do? You saw it. Chu Yun cursed inwardly. Who taught that girl? God Mu. Please take her away, thought Chu Yun. God Mu was the deity of this continent. Mu, as in Mu Jiuzhou. The smoke finally cleared. That ring of fire had disappeared. Shards of white flame were scattered on the ground. Shang Changtian looked at Feng Wu with glassy eyes. His hairband was broken, and his long hair had fallen to his shoulders, giving him a grim look. Feng Wu held the fallen star sword behind her and nodded at Shang Changtian. You fought well. Those words woke Shang Changtian up. His brain started working again, and his eyes focused on Feng Wu's face. You broke my ring of fire. You destroyed my white flame. You've humiliated me in the worst possible way. That's just great. Shang Changtian suddenly laughed wildly. I've never lost to anyone my age. Today is the first time. He stared at Feng Wu. His eyes lit up once more with fighting spirit. Chapter 2888. Did she lose? 4. Chapter 2888. Did she lose? 4. Shang Changtian stared at Feng Wu, his eyes frighteningly bright. White flame was gone, but he wasn't going to give up just yet. People reacted differently to this. The military academy students were excited and nervously waited to see what would happen next. The Imperial College students began to panic. Shang Changtian looked like he had more cards up his sleeve. What would Feng Wu do? Would she lose? They wanted to cry when they imagined that they were going to lose the advantage again. Everybody kept their eyes on the stage, too nervous to breathe. Who was going to win? Sun Yu and Chun Ziyun had the same question. Chun Ziyun said, I think it's a 50-50 chance. That was to say, The Imperial College still had a 50% chance of winning this competition. Feng Wu, you have to win. Many people clenched their fists and gritted their teeth. Sheng Changtian grinned at Feng Wu. You should give up now. Feng Wu shook her head. Sheng Changtian said, I'm not joking. If you don't surrender now, I won't give you another chance. Feng Wu just smirked. Sheng Changtian feigned a sorry tone. Why don't you cherish your life? Don't you want to live? The Imperial College students responded with loud boos. You're the one who's going to lose, and you're asking Feng Wu to surrender. You're shameless. Bring it on. Xiao will kick your ass. All you could do is talk. Show us some moves. Make a breakthrough now if you're really that capable. Yihan cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted in Sheng Changtian's direction. Feng Wu said in amusement, Did you hear that? Normally, Sheng Changtian would have lost his temper, but he was very calm now. There was an eerie smile on his face. Feng Wu was on guard. Was Sheng Changtian finally going to show his cards? She couldn't wait to see what it was. The next moment, rumble. Unrestrained spiritual essence filled the air. What was? Shit. Look at Sheng Changtian. Sun Yu cried out. He was loud enough for everybody to hear. They all looked at Sheng Changtian. To their astonishment, Sheng Changtian had made a breakthrough. He was a peak level 1 spiritual king, and he had just risen to level 2. Everyone was speechless. Yihan, who had been shouting at Sheng Changtian a moment ago, didn't know what to say. She wanted to cut off her own tongue. Everybody around her gave her sympathetic looks. Chaogus said, Are you sure you're not from the military academy? Yihan said. Sheng Changtian sat on the ground with his legs crossed and absorbed all the spiritual essence. He was a level 2 spiritual king now. Feng was only a junior level 1 spiritual king. The gap between their powers had just increased. It was unbelievable. Feng Wu is invincible when she fights people of her own level, but Sheng Changtian is no longer on that level. Those who knew Feng Wu well were worried. Chapter 2889. Did she lose? 5. Chapter 2889. Did she lose? 5. Gong Sun Mu was very concerned. What should he do? Feng Wu was going to lose. Chu Chu was exasperated. What are our chances now? Still 50-50? Everybody looked at Chun Ziyun. He was the most capable cultivator here, so the others all wanted his opinion. Chun Ziyun rubbed his nose and hesitated before saying, Of course not, unless Feng Wu makes a breakthrough too. The others rolled their eyes at him. Chu Chu snapped. Ziyun, stop dreaming. Can you say something about what Feng Wu can actually do? Sun Yu said, That's right. She's only just become a level 1 spiritual king. She's a junior. Chun Ziyun rubbed his nose again. In that case, we can only hope His Royal Highness will give her a hand. The others rolled their eyes once more. That's even more impossible. We might as well hope that Feng Wu can rise to level 2. Chun Ziyun said calmly, Don't worry. It may be a bumpy road, but the outcome will be amazing. Sun Yu said, I don't believe a single word you said. Judging by the energy Sheng Changtian is giving off, once Feng Wu loses, the 4 of us won't stand a chance even if we fight together. The others didn't believe Chun Ziyun either. Chun Ziyun didn't know what to say. What would it take for them to believe that the Crown Prince was on their side? He simply knew too much. Up on the stage, Sheng Changtian opened his eyes. He stared at Feng Wu with a cold smile on his face. If you kneel and apologize, I can give you a chance to surrender, he said arrogantly as he looked down on her, as if she were an ant. Feng Wu was speechless. Sheng Changtian said, Are you not going to do it? Fine. Just remember I gave you a chance, but you threw it away. Feng Wu was speechless. She shook her head and sat down. Everyone stared at Feng Wu in astonishment. They all thought she should surrender. He was a level higher than her. This was an impossible fight. However, why did she sit down? What's she doing? Gongshu Hongzhu finally calmed down from Sheng Changtian's breakthrough and was astonished when he saw Feng Wu sitting down. Jun Linyuan's eyes were twinkling like the night sky. She's making a breakthrough, obviously. He glanced at Gongshu Hongzhu as if the latter were an idiot. Obviously, other people might not think much of his tone, but Feng knew the Crown Prince too well to miss it. The Crown Prince couldn't sound any prouder. He seemed to be saying, "You idiots should open your eyes and look carefully. My girl can make a breakthrough at will." Feng shook his head. Despite that satisfied look, the Crown Prince just wouldn't say those words. A breakthrough? Gongshu Hongzhu felt he had heard the funniest thing in his life. He wanted to guffaw, but realized those words had come from the Crown Prince, so he forced back his laughter. Ahem! His face went scarlet red. Chapter 2890, Frustrated Zhua Qingwan. Chapter 2890, Frustrated Zhua Qingwan. Gongshu Hongzhu turned to the Crown Prince and tried to change the subject. Your Royal Highness, isn't Sheng Chang Tian amazing? He has just become a level 2 spiritual king. However, he didn't get the reaction he wanted. The Crown Prince said, such a good-for-nothing. Gongshu Hongzhu didn't hear him clearly, so he looked at Jun Linyuan in confusion. But the Crown Prince had turned away. On stage, Sheng Chang Tian was staring at Feng Wu in astonishment because she really was making a breakthrough. She had switched to cultivation mode as soon as she sat down, shutting off all her senses. Sheng Chang Tian forgot to blink. Breakthrough or not, most people couldn't switch to that mode and start cultivating right away. Sheng Chang Tian needed to clear his mind, concentrate, and make other moves before he could cultivate. All the students from both schools were amazed by what Feng Wu was doing. A breakthrough? Is Feng Wu making a breakthrough? She just mentioned a breakthrough, and she's doing it now. Is that even possible? However, the familiar rumbling noise forced them to face reality. Amidst the audience, someone had stiffened. It was Zhuo Qingwan. She was still a level 1 spiritual king. Although she was at the peak of level 1, it didn't change the fact that she was still at level 1. However, Feng Wu just reached level 2. For a moment, Zhuo Qingwan wanted to stand up and leave. She couldn't accept that fact. She couldn't help but recall her childhood. Feng Wu had been a genius since she was 3 years old, and she could easily defeat anybody at the same cultivation level as her. Besides Feng Lu, Zhuo Qingwan had also lived in Feng Wu's shadow. Feng Wu was everything a parent wanted their child to be. Zhuo Qingwan, how dumb can you be? Feng Wu has mastered it. Why can't you? Zhuo Qingwan, you're such an idiot. Feng Wu can recite it after reading it once. You've read it 3 times, but you still can't read fluently. Zhuo Qingwan, you both have the true phoenix blood. Feng Wu is younger than you, but she's already a few levels higher than you. When she was growing up, Zhuo Qingwan's parents had told her such things all the time. She could see the disappointment on her grandfather's face. Her parents were displeased, her siblings teased her, and even the servants looked down on her. Back then, Feng Wu was the only sun in the sky. Everybody wanted a daughter like her. The master of Firmament Palace wanted Feng Wu to become her disciple. Back then, Zhuo Qingwan racked her brain and set up that trap to destroy Feng Wu. Everything Feng Wu used to have became Zhuo Qingwan's. In the last 5 years, she had gotten used to how people treated her. She enjoyed the compliments, the privileges, and the way she treated others. However, Failure Wu, the cripple, had surpassed her once more. Feng Wu was a level 2 spiritual king. Zhuo Qingwan was only a level 1 spiritual king. Zhuo Qingwan clenched her fists, and her face went livid. She thought she was going to have a nervous breakdown. Feng Wu, you're dead. Chapter 2891. What was there to say? Chapter 2891. What was there to say? Zhuo Qingwan hated Feng Wu to the core. She closed her eyes and told herself that with what she had given Sheng Chang Tian, he would win. He would kill Feng Wu in front of Jun Linyuan. Meanwhile, Feng Wu opened her eyes. Her eyes were so black that they looked like bottomless pits. When Shang Chantian met her gaze, he felt panic-stricken. No, don't panic. When two capable fighters met, the first who panicked would lose. Shang Chantian forced himself to calm down and have some faith. Feng Wu smiled a little. Let's begin, Shang Chantian said. Let's. They charged at each other immediately after that. In an instant, they exchanged hundreds of blows. Shang Chantian's twisted face looked terrifying. He was giving it all he had. In contrast, Feng Wu was quite at ease. This time, Feng Wu had the upper hand. How is this possible? This isn't happening. Shang Chantian tried to calm down, but it was an impossible task. His opponent was insanely talented. Thump! Their palms met, and they brushed past each other in the air. Feng Wu landed steadily on her feet with a smile on her face. Shang Chantian flew backward until he fell to the ground with a loud thump. It was such a loud noise. The ground beneath him cracked. Unable to stop himself, Shang Chantian kept skidding backward. He was about to fall off the stage. The military academy students were torn by anxiety. No, Shang Chantian, hold on. You can't fall. You're the last player we have. If you lose, we're done for. They shouted at the top of their lungs. They couldn't sit still. Everybody jumped to their feet, and their eyes were bloodshot. They knew how they had humiliated Imperial College the year before. If they lost, the same thing would happen to them. The idea was unbearable. The moment before Shang Chantian fell off, he finally grabbed the edge of the stage. He raised his head and looked at Feng Wu in the distance. He couldn't hide the fear in his eyes. What on earth was going on? God Mu, are you protecting Feng Wu? Meanwhile, the Imperial College students all had strange looks on their faces. They didn't know what to say. Feng Wu has. And I didn't know she was so awesome. Sun Yu and the other team members realized how little faith they had in Feng Wu. They had been so sure that she would lose. How they wished the ground would crack open under their feet and swallow them up. It was so embarrassing. They were mortified. However, they didn't mind being humiliated in this way. Was she hiding her true strength before? Chu Chu asked weakly. He remembered how he was the one who had greeted Feng Wu when she joined the team. Back then, she had appeared to be on Xiuziu's level. Chen Ziyun shook his head. No, she wasn't. She's just making daily progress, which you can see with your own eyes. She's different from the person that she was yesterday. What else could the others say? Chapter 2892, True Phoenix Blood 1. Chapter 2892, True Phoenix Blood 1. I don't get it. How can Feng Wu make a breakthrough at will? Chu Yin ground her teeth. Jun Linyuan actually knew the answer. Back then, when he tried to protect Feng Wu from the magic soul vine, he had switched souls with her to refine the vine for her. Feng Wu then rose a whole stage. Not one level, but one stage. Feng Wu had made breakthroughs at this unbelievable speed since then. Of course, the proud crown prince wouldn't tell anyone else that. Zhuo Qingluan smiled coldly. Feng Wu, do you really think you're going to win? Have you forgotten about my Shadow Phoenix? All eyes were on Shang Chantian and Feng Wu. They wanted to know if Shang Chantian had more cards up his sleeve. Cards. Shang Chantian wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth and lowered his eyes to hide his smirk. When he looked up again, he poured the small bottle of true Phoenix blood down his throat. Do you think you'll win? No. Feng Wu, the game has only just begun. Shang Chantian smeared some blood on his cheeks. It gave him an even more eerie look. Formidable energy rose out of his body. The audience wasn't capable enough to feel it. However, Feng Wu immediately noticed it. True Phoenix blood. She had been born with it, so she was familiar with that energy. She smirked when she looked from Shang Chantian to Zhuo Qingluan in the audience. Shang Chantian, do you think drinking True Phoenix blood will help you in this competition? You're so naive. True Phoenix blood. Everybody was watching them. They were all very focused. Therefore, they almost jumped when they heard the name True Phoenix blood. Zhuo Qingluan's eyes widened. Shit, Feng Wu recognized it. What kind of nose did she have? Shang Chantian had only taken one sip of true phoenix blood, and Feng Wu had picked up the smell. To make matters worse for Zhuo Qingwan, Feng Wu made it known to everybody. Zhuo Qingwan thought, everybody will think I'm helping Shang Chantian. They will all see me as a traitor. Zhuo Qingwan's expression remained calm, but one could see the anxiety in her eyes. Shang Chantian, you better keep your mouth shut. All eyes were on Shang Chantian. Is it really true phoenix blood? I heard that 2 people in the Imperial capital have true phoenix blood. No, it used to be 2 people, Feng Wu and Zhuo Qingwan. However, Feng Wu's true phoenix blood was destroyed, and only Zhuo Qingwan has it now. Where did Shang Chantian get his? Did Zhuo Qingwan give it to him? No, I don't believe it. How else could he have gotten it? Did the military academy get it by force? The audience was intimidated by Zhuo Qingwan's superior status and didn't dare raise their voices. They discussed the matter under their breaths and glanced at Zhuo Qingwan from time to time. On any other day, they wouldn't have cared less whom Zhuo Qingwan gave the true phoenix blood to. But today was a special day. Chapter 2893, True Phoenix Blood 2. Chapter 2893, True Phoenix Blood 2. This was a competition, and if Zhuo Qingwan gave the true phoenix blood to their opponent, she would be a traitor. The student's opinion of Zhuo Qingwan changed. Xiuxiu knew where the true phoenix blood had come from, so when he detected tension in the audience, he lowered his head and tried not to be noticed. Meanwhile, Zhuo Qingwan was glaring at Shang Chantian. If Shang Chantian dared tell the truth, she would kill him. Shang Chantian could sense the tension in the crowd and was satisfied to see what was happening to the future wife of the crown prince. He now had something on the lady. Does that mean I can get what I want through Zhuo Qingwan in the future? Shang Chantian was excited by the thought. Feng Wu didn't miss the changing expressions on his face. She rolled her eyes at him. I'm asking you, where did you get the true phoenix blood? Shang Chantian smirked. What true phoenix blood? I don't know what you're talking about. Feng Wu said, didn't you just drink it? Shang Chantian laughed. True phoenix blood? Who told you I drank that? What's the matter with you? I see. Shang Chantian snorted. You're jealous of the person who owns the true phoenix blood. You're jealous of her talent, beauty, and the person she's engaged to. That's why you're saying I drank the true phoenix blood. You want to ruin her reputation. For someone as pretty as you have such an evil mind. What? Huh? Everybody was listening. Zhuo Qingwan was the only one who had the true phoenix blood now. Was Feng Wu jealous of her? That seemed to make sense. Many people believed what Shang Chantian said. Only a few people, like Duan Chaoga, Feng Sun, and Chun Ziun, knew the truth. Most people had no idea what happened, so they started giving Feng Wu judgmental looks. Zhuo Qingwan forced herself not to burst out laughing. Shang Chantian was an excellent partner, and she was very pleased with what he said. Feng Wu, I bet you didn't see this coming. I'd like to see you talk yourself out of this. Zhuo Qingwan thought Feng Wu would become flustered, but she was wrong. Feng Wu still had that calm smile on her face. Not the true phoenix blood, you say, and you didn't get it from Zhuo Qingwan. I'll start collecting evidence, then. Feng Wu charged at Shang Chantian before he had time to react. As a level 1 spiritual king, she had already been a formidable fighter. Having risen to level 2, she was even more capable now. By the time Shang Chantian realized what Feng Wu was doing, he had already been lifted off the ground. Feng Wu picked him up like he was a chicken. Shang Chantian was completely baffled. Before he could figure out how to react, Feng Wu started collecting evidence. Chapter 2894, True Phoenix Blood 3. Chapter 2894, True Phoenix Blood 3. She held Shang Chantian in one hand while her other hand clenched into a fist. She then punched him in the stomach. Her strength was too formidable for words to describe. Boom! Her fist landed in Sheng Changtian's stomach. Time seemed to freeze. Everybody gave Sheng Changtian sympathetic looks. Sheng Changtian immediately knew what it felt like to be punched by Feng Wu. He thought she had punctured his stomach. He instantly spat out a mouthful of blood. Zhuo Qingwan almost jumped to her feet. The blood he spat out was her true phoenix blood. Feng Wu's friends were equally shocked. They heard Feng Wu say she was going to find the evidence, but they never expected her to use such an approach. That was very efficient. Sheng Changtian was too shocked to utter a word. Was Feng Wu even human? They had become level 2 spiritual kings around the same time. He expected them to have similar levels of power. How could she crush him so easily? Are you really a level 2 spiritual king? Sheng Changtian gritted his teeth. Are you sure you're not a level 3 spiritual king? Feng Wu glanced at him. Didn't your war partner tell you? I'm invincible when fighting against people of the same level. She didn't. She only said, Sheng Changtian almost mentions Zhuo Qingwan's name. He realized his carelessness and stopped talking before he made another mistake. Feng Wu shook her head. She didn't feel sorry for him for long because she had hard evidence now. She turned to Gong Sun Mu. I'm asking for a timeout. Please examine this blood. Sheng Changtian was anxious. If that happened, he glanced at Zhuo Qingwan. Zhuo Qingwan wanted to eat him alive. Crossing her arms, Feng Wu looked from Sheng Changtian to Zhuo Qingwan with a smile on her face. She had seen through these two people. Seeing the threatening look in Zhuo Qingwan's eyes, Sheng Changtian immediately objected. I object. He glared at Feng Wu. We're still in a competition. A timeout will disrupt my rhythm. I'll hold you responsible if I lose. Oh, shut up. Chill. The audience booed and hooted. Sheng Changtian's face darkened. A moment ago, they had still respected and feared him, but now his image had been destroyed. Gong Sun Mu wanted to grant Feng Wu's request, but Chu Yun objected. This is a competition. Don't make it so complicated. Chu Yun snorted. Sheng Changtian is right. If his rhythm is disrupted, who's going to take responsibility? Gong Sun Mu said, that's not the case. Sheng Changtian drank true phoenix blood. Chu Yun smirked. True phoenix blood? Who can tell if it's true? Are you taking Feng Wu's word for it? Gong Sun Mu frowned. I'm not. And Feng Wu asked for the blood to be examined because she also needs the physical evidence. Of course, Chu Yun knew examining the evidence was the right thing to do, but she wouldn't let that happen. Gong Sun Mu was furious. You're an impossible woman. Chu Yun said, what did you just say? Chapter 2895, True Phoenix Blood 4. Chapter 2895, True Phoenix Blood 4. Seeing that an argument was about to break out, Elder Wu frowned. Silence. Both of you. Gongshu Hongzhu smirked. There's no need to argue. His Royal Highness is right here, and he'll tell us if we should pause the game and examine the evidence. He then turned to Jun Lin Yuan and said attentively, Your Royal Highness, what do you think? Deep down, Gongshu Hongzhu was very pleased. Why? Jun Lin Yuan was the Military Academy's honorary president, so it was only natural that he would take the Military Academy's side. Moreover, Zhuo Qingwan was said to be his fiancée. He would protect her and choose not to examine the evidence. The Imperial College would never get what it wanted. Gongshu Hongzhu glanced at Chu Yun. Chu Yun realized the connection as well. Yes, Zhuo Qingwan wasn't someone Feng Wu could slander. At that thought, she gave Gong Sun Mu an arrogant look, pleased with having chosen the right side. All eyes were on Jun Lin Yuan. Jun Lin Yuan didn't say anything. He was annoyed. How blind was Gongshu Hongzhu? He actually thought the Crown Prince would help Zhuo Qingyun. Your Royal Highness? Gongshu Hongzhu fought back his smile and reminded the Crown Prince in a low voice. The Crown Prince said, Get to the bottom of it. What? That command was so unexpected that Gongshu Hongzhu almost banged his forehead on the table. He stared at Jun Lin Yuan in disbelief. Many other people did the same. In the end, somebody said, His Royal Highness is so unbiased, even when his beloved fiancée is involved. The others agreed with him. Yes, he was such a just ruler. One couldn't wish more for a future emperor. Good, do it. Find out the truth. Such a wise decision. Everybody applauded and cheered, feeling proud to have such a crown prince. Feng Sun and Chao looked at each other. Chao said, "Why are they so surprised? Of course His Royal Highness will support Xiao Wu." Yihan rested her hands on her waist and glared at Chao. "How can you say that? His Royal Highness isn't a superficial person." Chao was speechless. Of course he was. He hid outside Xiao Wu's window in the middle of the night. Meanwhile, Gong Sunmu already got to work. He smiled at Chu Yun. "Would you like to join me, in case you decide Imperial College has cheated when the result comes out?" Chu Yun smirked. "Of course not. I don't want to get my hands dirty." Either way, she would insist that the evidence wasn't to be trusted. Just then, they heard a trustworthy voice behind them. "Your Royal Highness, may I join them?" It was none other than Feng himself. Chu Yun stared at Feng in disbelief. Feng was such a proud man, and he never took orders from anyone but the crown prince. However, he had just offered to help. Why was he so nice to Feng Wu? He wasn't her steward. It was what Qingwan's pupils contracted, and a chill ran down her spine. She gave Feng a warning look. Feng didn't even glance at her. It was what Qingwan didn't know what to say. She was so angry that you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.